Hello, I'm back to Rada. My name is Beast. Today we're back with more ToHeart2. Today we'll continue on with, you know, the dumb and the dangerous. Just kidding. We're still on the personal fucking annoyance because that will never fucking get old. Let's be honest. Nothing else going on, so let's. Ooh. I'm about to head to the student council, but I stop. Reason is the vice presidency. It's not like I forgot to recruit someone, I just tagged the problem half-heartedly. But I can't keep putting off my promise forever. Though there probably aren't many suitable people in the school. The issue is not just their willingness to accept the position's duties. What should I do then? Angsting about it, I come with a handful of names and return to the classroom.
それで、私?
Komaki stares at me blankly. Of course, your youthful energy is needed in the student council. Enthusiastically appealed to Komaki. She's overwhelmed. Komaki's notable for being in the class committee for many years and become a vice president in a natural progression. Representative, not president. Besides, it's not like Kusagawa would be oblivious to her work as class committee member. I hear they're acquainted, but it's probably complicated. But there's no doubt that she is far more qualified than I am to be the vice president. That's unlikely to be anyone better. There's unlikely to be anyone better than Komaki. Pulling close to Komaki and corner her by a window. There's no escape. Will this work? Komaki, please. I desperately plead, however.
私のことを推薦してくれるのはとても光栄なんだけど。
But she looks troubled and her voice trails off. No.
ごめんなさい。クラス委員の仕事もあるし。
That's it. I'm let down by a response. Komaki does have formal duties as class committee this year. Two roles might be hard.
本当にごめんなさい。
She says and escapes the room. I sigh, despondent. With that, I've lost my prime contender, but I haven't yet looked for anyone else. If Komaki says no, is there anyone else? Don't I have anyone else I know who wouldn't mind being asked? Acquaintances. Is there no one I know?
こらこらこら
Yuji butts into my field of vision. What is it, Yuji? I'm busy.
聞いたぞ。副会長を探してるんだって
Where on earth did you hear that from? Anyway, Yuji's face is graced with a refreshing smile. It's totally out of
な
character.
んで俺に声をかけないんだブラザー。俺はお前のために命をかけられる奴の名前を知ってるぜ。
Yuji gives me a thumbs up. Translation, the name he knows is his. Yuji, you're kidding me. But I smile and return the thumbs up and say, but you're not a friend.
高木
I give him a kick. No, no way. You're just targeting Senpai out of the question. It's totally inappropriate.
タカ君のいけず、私はタカ君一筋なのに。
Don't you dare imitate Tokonomi. She'd never say that anyway.
お前、それ本気で言ってんのかよ。女心の分かってないやつ。
I ignore his bullshit and wave him away.
野郎は嫌かよ、野郎は。そうだよな。生徒会長との愛の営みを邪魔する野郎は絶滅危惧種でも保護したくないってか
I said it's not like that. I just want to be more... Get sucked into making excuses, but it's not even...
だ。いいもん、いい。タカ君なんか、さっさと結婚してブラジルにでも行っちゃえ。
Usually drops some girly parting words and runs off somewhere. Maybe Brazil. What should I do, really? Time's running out thanks to Yuji's monkey show. I would be able to recommend a vice president by the end of the day. Run through a number of names in my head, and each has their pros and cons. I should find someone by process of elimination, but I don't want to go back until I do. And I don't want to go back until I do. Wander around the school searching for a vice president candidate. Are my expectations too high? I guess my candidate for the right vice president would also be a perfect human being. I'd be there for Sagawa's sake, some talented person to compliment her. They need to be a good speaker and are capable of doing the real work. Senpai is difficult to deal with, though I need to avoid someone with ulterior motives like Yuji. Absolutely pure, someone of great virtue with excellent grades, an absolute Mr. or Miss Perfect. If such a person existed in the school, of course I'd want them working on world peace too. But this other person doesn't even exist in fiction. But there is a but. Some I do have an image of what this Mr. or Miss Perfect could be like. Why can't I get over this bias? Did I experience some kind of trauma? Yeah, trauma must have been very recent. Some bad influence on my character development. Tamane. Also, because someone in comments continuously every time they mentioned his, the game mentioned him being nervous around girls, was pointing out like, oh, it's because of Tama. I still think that it's not quite that, considering that when they explained it, he essentially said that it's he almost feels like a girl would like break just from a light touch. Like as for some reason he just views them as weirdly fragile in that way, which I might have a theory why. And it does actually come back to Tamane as well, to Tamaki. What if, like, because Tamaki was sent away to study at like a boarding school because to fix her personality, quote unquote. What if the day she left, she literally just broke down crying, not wanting to leave in front of the MC, and the MC seeing this strong-willed girl that was essentially his childhood bully for fucking, I think, like 6 years by that point. If I remember correctly, what the game said. Like, just breaking down and crying just for not being able to be with them anymore might have had such a lasting impression that he just has this weird preconception that even like a strong-willed woman like that is secretly fragile like that or something. Like maybe like something like that happened and that might be the reason why. We'll have to wait for Sasara-Route to see that though. Something devilish. Huh? I got a strange sense of deja vu. Well, like Senpai double, but subtle different to the elasticity. There's also cold sweat dripping from my face for some reason. That doesn't happen with Senpai. My instincts inform me of the presence of an enemy. Could this be?
そんなに私の胸が恋しい？もう甘えん坊なんだから。
She whispers to me with a lusty voice. I wrench my head up to see her face, and there is...
ねえ、高坊。
Ah! Tamane! I'm sorry! Sensing my life is in danger, I reel back. Tamane closes in, pinching the cheek that bumped into her boobs earlier. Ow!
どういう意味よ、それ。こんなに愛情込めて抱きしめてあげてるのに。
No, Tamane did not embrace me. She actually embraced... if she actually embraced me, I'd have 3 ribs broken every day.
そんなに驚かれたら、ちょっと傷ついちゃうわ。それとももしかして、意識しちゃったとか？前から思ってたけど、高坊はもうちょっと女の子に免疫つけた方がいいかもね。
Says the culprit of the trauma in question. Okay, so now... the phrase I'm uncomfortable with girls and I'm uncomfortable with Tamane are on different planes. Right, so now the first sentence was like, okay, I am wrong with my assumption, but the second is like, the trauma is different. Like, now I'm just fucking confused. Whatever, I'm sorry, Tamane, I was deep in thought.
考え事？
It's no big deal. I tried too hard to laugh it off with a hoarse voice, but Tamane's eyes light up and she grabs me by the scruff of the neck.
何考えてるの？
No, it's no big deal.
そんなこと言って。 私が何年高坊の幼馴染をしてると思ってるの？何か考え事してることくらい見ればすぐにわかるわよ。
That may be the case, but I cannot underestimate Tamane. She'd get the gist of it.
いいわ。何か知らないけど手伝ってあげる。
No, even if you say that you could help, asking her to find a couple of a pure-hearted person similar with humans who'd be a candidate for vice president would be fruitless. But hold on.
どうしたの？
Very capable person of pure heart. I raised my head, surprised.
どうかしたの？
Not to mention excellent grades, great reflexes, and beautiful. No superhuman exists. No superhuman exists that more perfectly fits the criteria. So I wonder. Tamane! I grab Tamane's hand and shout.
何高坊？どうしたの？そんなに興奮して。
This does prove my point that she's a strong attacker, but defenses, no. Which, that's a huge plus. Tamane, I need you.
必要？
That's right, Tamane is the only one.
まさか高坊、こんなところで、そんな心の準備が。
I told you that was gonna be the case, and it's great. That just makes me want to get to around. Tamane blushes uncharacteristically and her voice wavers. Perhaps she's unnerved at the magnitude of the request, but I don't let that bother me. Tamane!
Hi!
Please become the student council vice president. Just immediate solemn disappointment.
Huh?
I said be the student council vice president.
副会長
Right, vice president, not vice president.
それだけ
Right, I don't want anything more. Tamane
高
grins.
坊
Tamane hugs me
紛
tight.
らわしいことを言わないの
My nose and mouth are completely obstructed by Tamane's breasts and I'm suffocating. So that's why, please! I explained the situation about it. Tamane's response is not
生
unfavorable.
徒会の副会長って言われてもね
She looks at me half
え
stunned.
あんまり生徒会みたいなのには関わりたくないんだけど
Oh no. Tamane's answer is cruel, but I plead to Tamane as my last hope. But you're the only one who can be it!
そうは言われても
The only one who can be. You don't deserve. You don't have to do much, right? Right? Right?
暇は余計
She speaks to me as though she's unable to stomach my question, but unwilling to accept her response, I get on my knees and prostrate. Please accept the only request I'll ever make of you!
ちょっと高坊男がそんな軽々しく土下座なんかしないの
Tamane attempts to pull me up, but I refuse to budge off the ground.
もう
I fucking knew that she was going to be weak to aggressive strats. Tamane brushes aside my hair. Oh, by the way, completely off the fucking... completely fucking... unrelated to this entire fucking conversation. However, I started reading a manga again, which... happens a lot, doesn't it? What's the English name? It's the one about the girl that becomes the mother of the Demon King's 10 children. Like, I think my favorite character today just Dirt, just because this man gets fed like once by his sister, and suddenly just sits there like, why thank you, eldest sister, that was scrumptious. And it's just, everyone just stares at the baby like, what the fuck?
わかったから顔を上げなさい
my hair.
高坊にそこまで頼まれたら断れないわよ
Tamane? Tamane sighs deeply and says resigned.
いいわ生徒会長に会いましょう会って決めるわ
With Tamane fully accepting, I strike while the iron is hot and take it to the student council room. Tamane seems to be reluctant of one last thing. Don't worry, the president is difficult to deal with, but not a bad person.
でもいいの私ここじゃ新参者なんだけど
Flat to refute her. You're already very popular in the class, nothing's a problem for you. Even if there is a problem, you can fix it without any trouble.
そんなに高く評価してくれるのは嬉しいんだけど
She still seems unconvinced. What on earth could be the problem? And it's here. Having arrived at the student council room, I opened the door in complete familiarity. Hello? Kuzgawa was typing something up on the PC. Her fingers stop when I enter and she looks up.
河野さん今日は遅かったけど
But her words trail off into nothingness. She gazes silently at Tamane behind me. So here she is. I introduced Tamane after her entrance. Tamane? No, Tamaki Kosaka from the third year.
高坂玉木です高坊がいろいろお世話になってるみたいで
Tamane steps forward and briefly introduces herself, but Senpai stands there unmoved as though Tamane is invisible. Senpai? Kuzugawa? Call out to her in concern. Senpai! She blinks at me as though waking
河
up.
野さん
Please get a hold of yourself. I finally found someone to recommend as vice president.
副会長候補
Seems to have only just noticed Tamane. Then she thrusts her hand out to shake hers.
はじめまして生徒会長の楠川ですこちらこそ高坂玉木です
Tamane puts on a bittersweet smile and shakes her hand, somewhat embarrassed by her own vacant expression before Senpai blushes, holding Tamane's hand in both of hers.
そろそろごめんなさい
Finally noticing, Senpai releases Tamane's hand. Senpai flushes even more and shrinks down. I wonder what she makes of all this. Tamane stops me with her knee.
ユージに生徒会長は女の子だって聞いてたけど
What? Tamane smiles.
女の子苦手な高坊にしては随分と親しいみたいで
It's not like that! Senpai stares in bewilderment at our exchange. Don't worry, it's nothing.
いいのなんだかお二人仲がいいみたいだから
Ah, right. Naturally, Senpai doesn't know about my relationship with Tamane. Tamane is a childhood friend.
幼なじみでも付き合いが長いから高坊と兄弟みたいなものかな
We all know that you're just using that as an excuse.
じゃあ小さい頃から河野さんと
Tamane shrugs.
それは残念ながらつい3月まで九条院の寮に閉じ込められていたから
But in contrast to Tamane's light-hearted tone, Kuzugawa raises her voice in
九条
surprise.
院
Indeed, Kujo Academy has been a prestigious school for noble families since before the war. I guess I was surprised she wasn't still I guess I was surprised she wasn't still attending there. But Tamane laughs off her admission.
そんな驚かなくても名前ばっかりの古臭い学校よ死ぬほど退屈なところなんだから
Knowing Tamane, she probably really does think that, but Senpai seems shocked by no small amount.
でも九条院でしょ
Senpai hangs her head, asking no one in particular.
じゃあ九条院から転校なんですかでもどうしてせっかく
Hold on. No, this is annoying.
「それはまあいろいろと
Tamane seems strangely at a loss for words and suddenly looks at me.
そうね強いて言うならこっちの学校の方がいろいろ楽しそうだからかしら楽しいさ今は楽しいわ楽しいから
For some reason, Senpai goes silent and knows that she seems to be more shocked by something other than the reputation of a noble family Kuju Academy's transfer student. Is she not satisfied with Tamane? Senpai, are you unhappy with Tamane as vice president? Senpai is taken aback and shakes her head in denial. There's no need to go ahead if you really don't want to. Tamane is not one to be offended if you say no.
そんな高坂さんはとても優秀な方だと思うわ自分をしっかり持っているみたいだし私なんかよりずっと
Senpai struggles to speak a little, raises her head and looks at Tamane.
高坂さん副会長の件引き受けていただけませんか
Tamane doesn't answer. Instead, she looks at
いい
me.
の
Huh?
私が副会長でも高坊はいいの
I asked you, didn't I? It's not up to me, it's up to the president, Kuzugawa. Tamane sighs for some reason. If you don't feel up to it, you can pass.
そうじゃなくて
She looks about to say something, but stops. After telling me that, she looks at Senpai. Senpai looks downward, awaiting Tamane's decision. Tamane thinks for a little. She sighs again and offers Senpai her hand.
いいわやりましょうありがとうございます
They shake hands. They both smile and I heave a sigh of relief.
でもやる以上ちゃんとやらせてもらうわ
She looks around the room and says to us with a cheeky
そう
grin.
なると必要なものを揃えないとね必要なものええ必要なもの 1年の
Yep,
柚原好みで
knew
あ
it.
ります。
She just dragged Konomi and Yuji over here. Congratulations! All three of you are also part of the student council.
高明の心の友高坂雄二です。お嬢さん。
Ah, there we go. Makes sense.
その見境のない言動はやめなさい。
Kuzugawa blinks in astonishment. She can't figure out why she needs these people gathered here.
さん、一体これは。
Tamane writes on the whiteboard, Student Council President Sasara Kuzugawa, Vice President Tamaki Kosaka, and then besides it writes Treasurer and Secretary. In Secretary's spot, she puts Konomi Yuzuhara. Then for Treasurer, Takaki Kono. Me? Me? Treasurer? That's third in line for the Student Council President.
姉貴俺の名前は。
入れてほしいの？あんたは小さい時からそういう子ね。はい、これで満足？
ちょっと待てー、おまけ高坂雄二って何なんだよ。
Yuji exclaims. I mean, we have the secretary, the treasurer. Like, I feel like there was always, in anime, there's always like a fifth spot. Yuji exclaims. Tamane ignores him and asks us.
他に異議のある人はいる？楠川さんは？私は。
Senpai glances at me but says
じゃあ
nothing.
高坊は？
Me, I want to speak, but nothing comes out. I'm just dragged along into Tamane's plans like always. Her words are like a spell that prevents me speaking. Is it okay for me to be student council staff? Tamane boldly declares in response.
だったら役職にふさわしい人間になりなさい、高坊。これ
Tamane.
はあなたが始めたことよ。高坊自身が逃げるなんて許されないわ。
You know, I fucking respect that. Like, she knows what's going on, but knows that it's not going to be solved anytime soon if she just denies the fucking position. So she's just, okay, I take the position, but you're fucking coming with me. The atmosphere becomes tense, but that's when it happens. The door breaks open, the tense atmosphere.
やっほほーい。みんなのアイドル、マーリャンだっぞーい。
Marian! Marian appears with her usual bottomless cheer. Tamane and Konomi look like their eyeballs will pop. It's the first time they've seen Marian. Sure is intense, eh?
世界の萌えコンテンツになるべく、ちょっとキャラを作ってみました。
It doesn't look like Senpai knows where to stop her ambitions. This is clearly a Marian world to her, no doubt. So be it. And with that announcement, Marian looks around the room without moving. Her eyes settle on Tamane. Marian's eyes bound over
彼
me.
女は？
That's Tamaki Kosuka, who's just been nominated as vice president.
高坂玉木。
Marian looks Tamane from head to toe, literally taking everything in. Then her eyes stop at one conspicuous point, then she grabs her own uniform under her breasts.
ボインボイン。
Then she looks at Kuzugawa to confirm. Senpai?
貴様、こっち来い。
Ow, 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 ow! Marian grabs me by the ear and drags me to the corridor. Marian! Then she turns around to look at me, making out large breasts where hers aren't, and says,
胸か？
Huh?
胸なのか？
Huh? Huh? Huh?
貴様、サーリャンのメロンおっぱいに飽き足らず、あの女のスイカおっぱいまで凌辱し尽くすつもりか。
Senpai! Marian assails me from the rear and grabs my
この
chest.
おっぱい製のおっぱいマジめ。そんなにおっぱいが好きなら、貴様のおっぱいを大きくしてやる。
She violently massages my boobs. Stop it!
おっぱいを大きくして、明日から女子の制服で登校するのだ。
Stop it!
また可愛がってやるぜ。
Marian breathes out like she's smoking without a cigarette. I can no longer pick up a bride.
まあ、その時は私のメス奴隷にしてあげるし。
No thanks! Why do you want to humiliate
と
me?
まあ、前置きはこれくらいにして。
What kind of introduction? Marian ignores me and asks, somewhat irritated.
彼女、高坂さんだっけ？
Yeah.
彼女で OK なわけ？タカリャンは。
Why is Marian asking me instead of Kuzugawa? I'm a little unhappy about that, but answer nonetheless. It's fine. I don't think there's any problem with it. Marian hums, but doesn't seem that impressed.
彼女、頭は？
Very, she went to Kujo.
運動神経は？
Excellent, no man is a match for her.
家柄。
Famous in this area, wealthy as it were.
お嬢様ってわけね。じゃあ、お料理とかお掃除とかは苦手なの？
I don't think so, maybe long ago, but now she handles that flawlessly.
競技作法に習い事も
Completely, she doesn't like it, but she's skilled in etiquette and can use it when
お
needed.
まけに行動力もあるんじゃない
Huh? Well, when we were little, she was the leader of his brats. Marian counts on her fingers.
美人でスタイル抜群勉強できてスポーツできて行動力もあってお嬢様で家事万能
Having finished counting them, counting them off, she glares at me.
タカリャン
Yes? He lifts me by the scruff of the neck and shouts in my ear.
なんなのよどこの DNA いじったらそんな完璧長寿になれるわけまさか戦艦隠し持ってて歌まで歌っちゃったりしないわよね父でかいし
I don't think her boobs have anything to do with it. Usually big boobs are for imposters, like in Gundam Weed Destiny. But I don't think there's anyone more talented. I know her since childhood too. What more could you want? Marian declares
い
coolly.
い人かどうかなんてどうでもいいの
Huh?
サーリャンネガティブシンキングだからタマちゃん相手に余計なこと考えなきゃいいけど
What does that mean?
マーリャン先輩サーリャン
She's come out to see why we've been out here for so long. The first thing that Marian asks her is,
サーリャンは今回の人事 OK なの
OK だなんてあったばかりだけど高坂さんも柚原さんもみんな素敵だしきっと好きになれると思うんです、だからこれでいいんだと思います
Kugawa smiles. Marian sighs in
サーリャ
response.
ンがそう言うならいいけどね
But her face clearly reads, I don't know how this will turn out. What on earth could the trouble-loving Marian possibly fear? I'm left with a vague sense of uncertainty and unease. Well, people are now going to flock to Tamane instead of her. Probably. Even though it's a new school term, or being put in the same class as Yuji and Komaki again kind of makes me feel like nothing's changing. Well, time to go to sleep. Tomorrow begins another day, the same as today, the same as yesterday. 10. April 10th. Morning breaks that is like any other. So I thought, but I was wrong. With an unusually serious expression, Konomi takes deep breaths and stretches intermittently as if doing warm-up exercises. Konomi, what are you doing?
よっしょ今日ね身体測定があるんだだからこうやって体をほぐしてるの
Health checkups, huh? That reminds me, there's a time of year when it's done for the whole school. As might expect, there's so many of us that they divide the classes up and spread them out over a number of weeks. I'm sure mine is next week, or is it the week after? But if they're measuring your height and weight, is there any point to loosening up? Is it to lose some weight?
もう違うよそんなに太ってるように見えるかな
She mumbles and pinches around her waistline. So that's not it. In Konomi's case, it's the opposite. She could do with being a little more buxom. So what's it for then?
こうして体を柔らかくしとけばちょっとは身長が伸びるかもしれないでしょだからこうして
She stretches out again. Okay then, I see where you're coming from, but do you really think that'll make you get any taller?
伸びるよきっと
Okay. He says it with such conviction that it overwhelms me. Like, I don't know why, but I just suddenly imagine the MC like, well, I have a solution. Just walks up behind her, arms to the side, T-pose, okay, just fucking grabs her, stands up, and just lets her dangle there. Feeling taller yet? Well, I understand Konomi wanted to be taller, but even if stretching exercise did add to your height, the result would be negligible. Seems to me like a futile last-ditch effort against the inevitable. I don't think you need to worry about it too much.
気にするよ新しいクラスでも前の方だったんだよもっともっとタマお姉ちゃんみたいに大きくなりたいのに
Like Tamane.
タマお姉ちゃんみたいになりたいんだ
Oh no, please spare me that. I mean, you're fine just the way you are.
そうじゃないよそうじゃなくて
Not what?
とにかく大きくなりたいの
Huh?
おはようタマお姉ちゃん
Konomi spots Tamane and rushes up the stairs. She wants to become like Tamane. Let's see. Kozaki, Konomi, or our very beloved personal annoyance. The class committee members line up. Kuzugawa looks at them over and takes a deep breath and speaks.
それでは高坂玉木さんの生徒会副会長就任に賛成の方、挙手をお願いします。
One by one they raise their hands. Soon there are too many to count. It's concluded almost immediately. It's an unanimous victory. In the end, not a single hand wasn't raised.
賛成多数。高坂玉木さんの副会長就任が決定しました。
Round of applause follows her declaration. Tamane stands up from her seat next to me and bows deeply to the class committee members. On the same day as Tamane, Konomi and I have our positions approved. Usually was a voteless add-on. And so a new student council begins. Then the first meeting. Tamane adopts a relaxed pose, arms folded. Konomi frets about her first task. There's nothing much concerning Yuji to speak of. Senpai is a little stilted in front of her newly gathered cabinet. Having sorted everything out, Kuzugawa picks up the documents and simply explains today's brief.
今日の議案は目安箱について。
Unexpected topic. Is there none for the school right now?
その心は
Kuzugawa
現
answered.
状、実質的には学校行事から各種校則の提言までほぼ生徒会の独断で行われています。一応学校行事などはクラス委員や実行委員による決議を経ることになりますが、クラス委員から生徒会への働きかけというのは多くありません。生徒会が決めるということが慣習化して、生徒自身が提案するという考えが根付いていないのかもしれません。ですから、この学園の生徒会は自由度が高く、大きな権力を持つ反面、マーリャン先輩のように予算を学校行事につぎ込んでしまって、他に手が回らなかったケースもあります。そこで、
The suggestion box. That's Kuzugawa's proposal. And it's likely that Marian has caused her to realize she hasn't given much thought to the students themselves, with the schedule and budget weighing on Kuzugawa's mind. This isn't just about keeping the trains running on time. This is an expression of Kuzugawa wanting the student council to be loved by the students.
でも
Tamane raises her hand in
そういうの
objection.
って冷やかしも多いんじゃないかしら。
In extreme view, some students would use it just for garbage disposal, but Kuzugawa seems to have considered that
そうい
already.
った無駄も必要悪です。自由な意見表明が保障されていないのであれば、本当に必要な意見もなされないと思います。
まあ意見を取捨選択するのは私たちの仕事ってことね。
はい。すべての意見や要望を実現する必要はないと思います。
Tamane nods. However,
でも逆に設置されたのにそれによって学校に何の変化もないと批判の対象にならない？
それは、
Senpai frantically turns the pages of her documents. Seems that there was a question she wasn't prepared for. Guess the only person who bore the full brunt of the decision-making till now was Marian. Looking at the schedule and budget for the yearly closing ceremony meeting, there was no breathing room for Kuzugawa. In the end, even if it was left to the students and they complained behind their backs, they wouldn't openly challenge Senpai's decisions. Senpai has developed a cold image inside the school. Still, she can't seem to find a response. She keeps looking down, hiding her face, her pale ears tinge red, embarrassed at not being able to answer. Push my brain into top gear, need to come up with some rebuttal. Surprisingly, Tamane comes up with a counter.
学校新聞や掲示板なんかを利用して公開できる意見は公開しましょう。意見に対してこちらの見解を述べる。そうすればちゃんと当初に目を通してるポーズになるわ。どう思う？
そうね。
Senpai nods approval, but that may have been the wrong way to deal with the real problem. She looks down, blushing.
楠川さん、どうしたの？
ごめんなさい。
Senpai responds, her voice fading away. Tamane sighs and pats Senpai on the back.
どうして謝るの？そんなすぐに諦めない。
高坂さん。
みんなと一緒に頑張ってこその生徒会でしょ？
Kuzugawa nods again, blinking away tears. Tamane relaxes, sipping juice and making small talk with Senpai, and then turns back to us.
じゃあ他に意見は？ないなら設置の方向で。
Tamane looks everyone over. Then, perky voice, it's going to me. Right as the meeting appears to be ending, she thrusts out her hand.
どうぞ、柚原さん。
Losing her usual casual nature and the student council room, Tamane calls out by a formal name. Konomi stands up as though in class and looks at everyone seriously.
何？
目安箱はどこに設置するんですか？
Set up places. Usually Tamane and I are all tilt our heads.
普通は生徒会室の前じゃないかしら。便利だし。
But Yuji raises his voice in obvious dissatisfaction.
生徒会室の前？
何か文句でもあるの、ユージ。
Tamane glares at Yuji. Yuji seems
生徒
unaffected.
会室って3階にあるんだぜ。いちいち登れってことかよ。
Ah, it is indeed on the third floor. Even if there was an escalator, you'd hardly call the climb easy.
それはきついわね。私も3年だから生徒会室に行くのは結構。
The third year is on the first
そ
floor.
れは単に姉貴がおばさん。
Plus, there's something awkward about coming here. I used to feel like that before, like I was going to a police station.
まあそれはなきにしもあらずね。
じゃあ1階？
玄関に置く？
There's a lot of traffic there, so it might be hard to contribute.
職員室の前は？
職員室もあんまり行きたくないところかも。
But the teachers have nothing to do with it and seem surprisingly uninterested.
それになんだかんだで前はよく通るわ。1階だし。
There's a bulletin board there too. Hold on. I'm not sure if it's the best place, but it's definitely a
じ
decent
ゃ
one.
あとりあえずそこに設置しましょう。しばらく様子を見て反応が良くなければ場所を変えて。
We all agree.
他に意見は？
ナイス。
Nil.
このみは賛成。
じゃあ目安箱は設置ということで。
Tamane ascertains there's no further comment and looks at Kuzugawa expectantly.
はい。それでは今日の会議はこれで終わりにします。当初用紙は後日作成。ポストは学校に適当なものがないので。
ユージ、適当なポストを買ってきなさい。領収書ももらうのよ。
俺かよ。
You don't even need a fucking mailbox for it.
ちくしょう。来期は俺が生徒会長になってやる。
Everyone in the room smiles. I breathe a sigh of relief. It was a little tense, but the meeting went pretty smoothly. Probably helped that Marian wasn't there. It doesn't look like Marian had reason to worry about Kuzugawa and Tamane combination. It's just that Senpai looks a little drained. Senpai?
何？
Senpai smiles and looks at me. I look carefully. I carefully choose my words to question her. Well, is it? We're going out with Tamane.
大丈夫よ。今日は少し失敗したけれど。
Can't make out from her expression whether she's forcing herself or just
高
tired.
坂さんって本当に素敵な人よね。よく気がつくし、河野さんもそう思うでしょ。
Yeah, I think she's awesome. Having Tamane, who's like a big sister to me, be praised like that should please me, but there's something discomforting about it coming from Senpai. Stare at Senpai, she's watching Yuji and Tamane quarrel, yet there's something envious in her expression. She whispers something, seeming to notice my gaze.
あんな風になれたらいいのに。
Senpai? I'm worried about what she said. I'm about to act when Tamane's voice booms through the throughout the room. Of course, Senpai and I give her full attention. What is it now? The meeting's over. With everyone looking strangely at Tamane, she seems not just pleased but happy and says,
せっかくなんだし、みんなで食事にでも行かない？
Food.
そう。新生生徒会発足記念で。
Knowing Tamane, this isn't to recognize our efforts, but Kuzugawa's in particular. She's fine by me. It's fine by me, but it's just that Senpai has only spoken to Tamane and Komani a few times so far, not to mention that she's spoken to no one outside the class, student council. That sort of skillful maneuver is just is so like Tamane. Senpai seems to react and stand up.
私がおごります。
Senpai?
私が生徒会長ですし、それに皆さんわざわざ集まってくださったのに、私何のお礼も。
But Tamane smiles wryly and rejects her offer.
固いこと一個なしよ。さっきも言ったけど、私たち仲間でしょ。お礼なんて誰も期待してないわ。
でも
学生なんだから割り勘でね。まあユージがおごってくれるならありがたくごちそうになる。
嫌なこった。姉貴に食われるくらいなら5期に恵んだ方が間違い。
Yuji falls down flat, comatose. Tamane wipes her hands with a handkerchief and says calmly,
じゃあ行きましょうかね、楠川さん。
Yeah, so we all leave the school. Yuji and Konami are lively along the way. That raises the mood in itself. At least that isn't something I remotely have to worry about. Why is it that Senpai's been smiling all along? Why is it that for someone who doesn't say much, she's trying so hard to speak? Can't shake the feeling that she's pushing herself. Is she worried about everyone paying her own way? Or is she not used to group activity? Or is she trying not to lose favor with Tamane? She never complains, but there's definitely some unease. That's how it appears to me, so... what is the problem? In the end, we arrive at the station, me unable to shake my lingering anxiety. In the evening, at the station, crowds of students and adults return from their shopping. It's crammed with people.
どこも混んでそうだな。
じゃあさっさと決めた方がいいわね。
Tamane says, asking
好
everyone.
みたちは何が食べたい？
Eugene couldn't be enthusiastically respond.
ラーメン。
Everyone makes their suggestion.
ラーメンは汁が飛ぶから却下。
だったら聞くな。
Yuji violently objects, but Tamane just turns away from him to Senpai.
じゃあ楠川さんは何か食べたいものある？
私
何でもいいわよ。中華でもイタリアンでも。あ、でも一般学生の懐具合は考えてあげてね。
私は
Senpai looks down and thinks. After a moment, not wanting to make us wait any longer, Senpai shyly stammers to Tamane.
ハンバーガー
ハンバーガ
Tamane blinks, surprised.
おかしいですか？
ー？おかしいわけじゃ。
Tamane smiles
楠
derisively.
川さん無理してない？
え？
私が予算のこととか言ったから気にしたんじゃないかと思って。失礼だけど楠川さん少し遠慮してるみたいだから。
そんな
無理して好みやユージに合わせなくてもいいのよ。
Senpai shakes her head, flustered.
無理してません。大丈夫です。大丈夫。
ならいいけど。
Tamane looks somewhat dissatisfied, then looks at
じゃあ
me.
高坊は？
Me? What should I do based on the time? Would maybe well be dinner. Set Japanese style meal, or set Chinese meal, or Western meal. Tamane sees straight through
な
me.
んだか実質本位な答えが返ってきそうね。
Standard response, set meal menu. Standard, a set meal? So that Tamane might be hinting for me to pick some place good for an informal social gathering. Could it be that Tamane is using me as an excuse to pick such a place? Senpai would find it hard to refuse something I suggested. That's just how much she's read into our dynamic.
混むんだから早くしなさい。
She urges me for an answer, seemingly impatient. Yes. I consider the options and speak. Oh well, in that case. How about a style tally? Get that far and finally realize what Senpai's worried about. Shit. Stop myself and transform my answer. McDonald's!
ヤック？
Tamane is floored by my 180. I grip my fists in force. Right. Yaku's hamburgers. Tamane is half
お
stunned.
祝いみたいなものなんだからもう少し贅沢してもいいんじゃないの？好みとユージは？
悪くはないけどハンバーガーは腹にたまらないよな。
もんじゃならお絵かきできるよ、タカ君。
But I refuse to give a round. Nah, extravagance is the enemy. Yaku's cheap and student's friend.
どうしても？
No matter what.
高坊、あなたブロックさんよどう読んだのよ。
No. That back and forth goes on for the next 5 minutes. Tamane should get a feeling of why I want to go to the Yaku's at all cost. Last she gives
は
up.
いはい、わかりました。高坊がそこまで言うならヤックに行きましょ
Wow, Yaku's hamburgers are so tasty.
う。もうわざとらしいわよ。ヤックにいくらで雇われたの？いい加減にやめなさい。
Yes. Having been scolded by Tamane, I quietly tuck into my hamburger. Wow, it's not like Yaku's so bad. I did force it, but it's still fine as a place for everyone to gather. As we meld into a harmonious environment, Tamane watches Kuzugawa with interest. As Senpai nibbles her hamburger, she notices Tamane's gaze and looks up.
何？
少し意外だなって。
え？
楠川さんってこういうのを食べる雰囲気の人じゃなかったから。でもそれにしては食べ慣れてるみたいだし、読み間違えたかなって。
I'm startled by Tamane's observation. Senpai is also surprised and her voice sounds a little perturbed.
そう？本当はよく食べるのよ。
そうなんだ。
ええ、よく食べるの。
Epichuru is saying she doesn't need anything else. She's a person that consumes nothing but prepared convenience stores and prepackaged food that is beyond just being used to eating this. One could say her life depends on eating it. Senpai herself must be conscious of it and wouldn't want too many people knowing about it. Look at Tamane's expression, but she just seems curious, continuing a discussion while Kuzugawa gives appropriate responses and smiles awkwardly. As our meal gathering ends, we step out of the shop and it's already dark. It's gotten late, and while Kuzugawa's parents should be concerned, they apparently always come home late, so it's of no particular worry.
私向こうだから。
じゃあここでお別れね。
ええ、また生徒会で。
She says and looks at me.
河野さん。
Senpai looks downward uncomfortably and fiddles with her fingers. She raises her head as if she's about to say something a few times, but each time she goes straight back to looking down. Senpai takes a sidelong glance at Tamane. Tamane seems to be waiting for our discussion to be over. Maybe Tamane's expression that causes her to hesitate when she finally raises her head.
もういいの。みんな待たせるのも良くないし。
Then she smiles at me and
さような
says,
ら、河野さん。気をつけてね。
You too take care, Senpai? I go over to Tamane, Yuji, and Konami also. I go over to Tamane and Yuji and Konami also say farewell to Senpai.
先輩、お別れのベーゼを。
ユージ。
Though we'll see each other at school again, Konami waves as though she's finishing with a final farewell. Senpai responds to Konami by waving slightly but authentically.
行くわよ、高坊。
Yeah. Urged on by Tamane, I walk off. Feeling the hairs on the back of my neck raised, I turn back. Senpai? Senpai stands there alone despite our farewells being over. Catching my look, she hastily waves again. She looked like she would be there until we are no longer in sight.
クスガワ先輩、可愛かったよな。あのハンバーガーの食べ方も育ちの良さが現れてさ。
Even though his conversation with her was decidedly one-sided, Yuji seems to have been entranced. By the way, I'm quite sure that conversation accounts for at least 80% of Senpai's fatigue.
先輩、おしとやかで上品で、私もちょっと憧れちゃうな。
Now there's a drunk man in the background. I just noticed, like, look at this fucking drunk guest stumbling about that back there.
だよな。ほら、この身もそう言ってるだろう。やっぱり姉貴も先輩の控えめで女の子らしい性格を見習えばいいのに。
そんなに控えめで女の子らしい性格が好きなら、いっそユージがなってみる？
いや、それは。
I'm relieved at seeing their responses. That went way better than expected, didn't it? Konami and Yuji's positive reactions were good, too. It seems I was unnecessarily anxious given the discussion never stalled. Of course, that's due to Tamane's leadership in making sure Senpai was never left out. But what's this? Can't get Senpai's parting expression out of my head. Have I forgotten something vital? It's nothing to do with Tamane and Senpai getting it on. Senpai didn't look unwell, nor did she appear about to cry, but she wanted to say something to me. Have I done something? I rewind to when we left the student council room and replay it, and fast forward the events till our farewell. What on earth did I do? Huh? I play it back once more. Conclusion. Could it be that rather than saying something too personal, that today all my greetings and dealings with her were too businesslike?
高坊？
I've got to go do something. I do an about face and scramble back. Run out of the arcade and return to the station plaza. I may be worrying too much about it, but Senpai's expression couldn't be. I think I'm just too self-conscious. But if it is something, I have to talk to her. I scrutinize the plaza, then... Ah, Senpai. On a bench, Senpai sitting by herself. Senpai!
河野さん？
Senpai looks up when she hears my voice. Thank goodness. I'm breathless as I make my way to her.
どうしたの？高坂さんたちと帰ったんじゃ。
What about you? Why are you here? Are you not feeling well? Senpai forces a smile and shakes her head.
心配性よ、河野さん。吐いたりしてないわ。ヤックのハンバーガーは小さい頃から食べ慣れてるの。
Senpai puts on a bigger smile, but I stare at Senpai. Then she realizes that I don't share her smile. There's fatigue in her eyes as she says.
でも、慣れていないから少し緊張して。
Doing this sort of thing must have been a little hard on her. If only I'd said that I had a stomach ache and cancelled. Now that she just followed me back. Then if I'd taken Konami a prisoner and made demands. She seems to have seen through my look of anguish. Senpai giggles.
河野さん、心配しないで。みんないい人たちよ。
The drunk ass is here as well!
河野さんもいるし、うまくやっていけると思うの。それに、
Senpai's face blushes as she says,
ありがとう。かばってくれて。本当に感謝してる。
It's nothing, I was just doing what came naturally. If I can say anything, Senpai plays her fingers on my lips.
河野さんがいてくれて本当によかった。今もここにいてくれてすごく嬉しい。
The sensation of her finger's softness lingers on my lips. I'm happy too, to be told that makes me feel that like it was worth running back here. Senpai,
何？
can you eat ice cream? Senpai startled and answers
カップの
smiling.
なら。
Let's go buy some. It's good to eat something sweet when you're tired. I'm about to run off to a nearby convenience store, but she calls to
待って
me.
河野さん、
I turn around and she trots over to my side and whispers in my ear.
一緒に買いに行きましょう。きっとその方が美味しいわ。
Senpai. I answer immediately. Yes! I think it's good that Senpai and the others are learning to get on. I'll be supporting them with all my might. But Senpai smiles at me with a smile reserved solely for me, and at that moment I feel a surge of pride. Maybe selfish of me, but I wish for this moment to last even just a little longer. I'm strangely hungry even though I had dinner. Maybe because I bathed early. Should eat something. But nah, I've already brushed my teeth, so I should just hurry up and go to bed. I won't feel hungry if I'm asleep. Come to think of it, I haven't ever ordered soupy style at that beef boss restaurant. Oh, they don't actually have that option on the menu. The server won't give me a dirty look if I ask for it though, right? I mean, any beef bowl place can do soupy. What the fuck was that? Also, I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, I'm back and my nose is free again. At least somewhat free. Freer than before. Normally I'd love to have so much time. I'd love to have so much, but having slept past lunch and having nothing to do, I'm bored. I don't have anywhere else to go, so I sit on the sofa and leaf one by one through the newspapers and pamphlets on the sideboard. I stop when I see zero written there. It says 0 yen. Can't help but be interested in it. There appears to be a lottery at the department store. The advertisement has one coupon. If you shop at the store and get one more coupon, you can enter once into the lottery. But it looks like the merchant made a mistake and sent me 2 coupons already. I can make something off this without bothering to even go to the store. Unlike when I go to school, I can ride there by bike to right in front of the station. What should I do? It's possible I want to, but it seems a shame to get up from the sofa. Well, I roll around grumbling to myself. Eventually the boredom gets to me. There'll be no conclusion at this rate. With an hour to go before the deadline, I finally get off my arse. Whoops. I get there surprisingly fast. There's still time for the lottery. The hall is 1 floor below the top food mall. I could get there non-stop via the elevator, but I decided to take the escalator. I look through the shops as I slowly make my way up. Stores no longer have remnants of the graduation season, with goods for the entry to school and work on sale here. Starting school and new work must be at about the same time. I only now figured something out that was so obvious. Well, it doesn't affect me at this time either way. School entry, starting work, going up on a school level, all simply advancements. People all had their various places in spring. Parts of that stores are already set for the middle of summer. There are swimsuits and air conditioners amongst the goods. I don't know whether you can call it the commercial spirit or what. And the cosmetic sections has all been repainted for sunscreen. It's only obvious that from spring here they'll go to the summer goods sale wars, but it looks way too fast by anyone's measure. Still, one can't help be drawn along by others around them as soon as they start talking. Sorry. Just like rolling downhill with one vying for the other to get ahead, even if they're detached from reality. Once they've started, they can't stop. Kind of think of it. Magazines are sold a month early, but their contents don't change. Only 10 months is incremented. Only the month is incremented, honestly. If only they sold the April edition in April. What I won was a box of tissues. So I came all the way here to the station for this. I think of it as something awfully precious. I used them with care. When it's absolutely critical.
そういえばタカ君。
That's a new CG for absolutely no fucking reason.
いつもお昼はパンか学食で食べてるんだよね。
Huh? Yeah, so...
学食ってどんな感じ？
School cafeteria. Well, Ryan Konomi's previous school provided lunch for the students, so there was no such thing as buying food at the school cafeteria.
飢えたガキが押し寄せてくる。阿鼻教官の飢餓地獄ってやつだな。
冗談ばっかり。
Actually, that's pretty accurate. Konomi, you haven't seen it, which is why you probably don't understand, but as soon as the school bell rings, an avalanche of bloodthirsty, starving kids conglomerates. If you're slow, all the popular items sell out.
へえ。
Why, is something wrong?
うん。今日は学食とか購買部とか見てみたかったから、お弁当持ってきてないんだ。ねえねえ、だからお昼ご飯一緒に食べようよ。
What's going on?
もしかしてダメ？
Of course, I don't mind, but what about you?
あ、別に構わねえぜ。
やったー。
Alright, at the end of the fourth period, we wait at the cafeteria entrance. If you don't hurry, you really won't make it.
玉お姉ちゃんはお昼どうするの？
まだ決めてないけど、ユージがパンにするって言うからお弁当も作ってこなかったし。
それじゃあ玉お姉ちゃんも一緒に食べようよ。ダメ？
そうね、そうさせてもらおうかしら。にしてもさっきのユージと高坊の表情とっても気になるんだけど、私を無視して話を進めてたことも含めてね。
Sound of Tama cracking her knuckles. No, we thought that you were already planning to meet with someone, isn't that right?
その通りだぜ。
そう。
It goes without saying that we commenced thereupon, that what commenced thereupon was a scolding that could not be averted. The morning class is finished and lunch break begins. At least, that's how things should be. Right now, class isn't showing any signs of ending. I wonder if the teacher hasn't noticed that the class is already
であるから
over.
してここには現在進行形が
A lot of souls listening. Students tapping their feet, students scratching at their desks. Everyone was at their end of their patience. Finished the last, Yuji and I run for the school
さ
cafeteria.
あ、抜け出せなかった。豊島のやつ、こんな時に限って隣に立ちやがって。
あ、タカ
Sorry I'm late. Is Tamane here?
くん。まだ来てないみたい。
Let's see. Well, can't be helped. Let's go on ahead. He's probably already here.
人いっぱいだね。
Totally packed. Too late after all, huh? Probably extra busy starting the day with all the new freshmen that are now using the cafeteria as well.
ああ、どうするよ。
Let's see. Times like this, times like these, we'll have to wait for our turn for seating. All the good bread is going to be left. But there's no other option, so I guess we'll eat here. How about I go with Konomi to buy the food while you look for a place for us, Yuji?
お、
Oh yeah, we'll grab something for Tamane too, but what should I
イカ
get?
フライ定食でいいんじゃないか。好きだし。
好意だけありがたく受け取っとくわ。それで何してるの？
Not much, we're doing that. I point to the queue.
ああ、あれ、ちょっと待ってなさい。
Tamane says and briskly walks over to the counter, at which point she moves behind the counter to avoid physical contact with a crowd of people. And she proceeds to exchange 2 or 3 pleasantries with the old lady behind the counter, receives a few things in a paper bag, and comes back over.
はい、買ってきたわよ。これだけあれば足りるでしょ？
She says and hands me the bag.
で、姉貴、購買のおばちゃんと知り合いなのか？
何言ってるの？ご近所の高岡さんでしょ？ご近所様の顔くらい覚えときなさい。それより外に出ましょう。こう人が多いと息苦しくって。お昼は私が買ってきたんだから、場所はそっちが案内してくれないと。私はまだここの学園のこと不慣れなんだし。
I wonder if I'm simply imagining that she already carries on like she owns the place. Lead, you say. Wait
どこ
till.
でもいいわ。でもそうね、ちょっと贅沢を言うなら、人があまりいない静かなところで日当たりが良くて 居心地よくてくつろげる場所かな。見晴らしが良くて爽やかな風が吹いていたらなおよし。
Just say the rooftop.
どこでもじゃねえだろそれ。
言いたいことがあるならはっきり言いなさい。
あーだ割れる。
You've come to the roof.
なかなかいいじゃない。
Oh, before I forget, the money.
別にいいわよ。ユージの小遣いからさっぴいとくから。
ちょっと待てよ姉貴。
Usually, is it okay?
いいわけねえだろ。
What's with this fucking... What's with this fucking mean eye? Also, line of sight says he is, like, steering in this rough area. What the fuck are you doing? You know what, I'll actually just overwrite this one, since if I use one that isn't Sasara related, it'll probably be this one anyway.
でもすごい人だったね。
Yeah, although I thought it was very empty until pretty recently.
そりゃお前が学食使うようになったのって3年が卒業間近でいなかったからな。その前まではいつもあんなもんだったぜ。
そうなの？ゆうくん、いつもパンなんだよね。毎日あれで大変じゃない？
はっ、気合だ気合。ま、今日はちっと油断しちまったけどな。
Like when the fourth period looks like it'll run over, but he often sneaks out quietly. Yuji signals at me with one finger on his lips to say to be quiet. Huh? Ah. Better. Squeeze.
割れる。
Ah.
やっぱお弁当持ってきた方がいいのかな。今日は玉お姉ちゃんが何とかしてくれたけど、あんなところから買ってくる自信ないよ。
No doubt in Konomi's case, I could easily imagine her being jostled around by the crowd and spat back out. That might be the better option. I used to bring a lunchbox too, till recently.
そうね。じゃあ明日からはみんなでお弁当にしましょう。その方がいろいろ楽しめるしね。
ああ？俺は弁当なんかよりパンの方が。
却下よ。
ちょっと。
却下。それとも自分の小遣いだけで何とかする？
Yeah, I can't eat from a lunchbox every day.
あ、そっか。タカ君がお弁当持ってくるの大変だよね。それならタカ君のも一緒に持ってこようか。
Konomi, are you offering to make my lunch?
お母さんに作ってもらうんだけど。
やれ。こういう時は嘘でも自分が作るって言っとけって。
I'd appreciate that, but I don't want to be a bother for a boss.
大丈夫だよ。この間だってお母さん、タカ君のお昼のこと心配してたし、きっと喜んで作ってくれるよ。
なら私が作ってこようか。ユージの分も私が作るんだし、2人分も3人分もそんなに変わらないから。
へえ、姉貴がな。
He's grinning broadly with something on his mind.
姉貴は性格に似合わず料理がうまいからいいんじゃねえか。
割れる。どっちにする？お弁当。好みに持ってきてもらうか、私が持ってくるか。どっちがいい？遠慮しないの。こんな美人で優しいお姉さんと可愛い妹分が持ってきてあげるって言ってるのよ。
ちょっと待て。今さりげなく聞き捨てならねえこと言っただろ。
ほんと。こんな美味しい申し出を断ったりなんか、ここから突き落とされても文句言えないわね。っていうか、男なら断るな。
I don't think a gentle onesan would throw someone off from here.
男ならつべこべ言わずに選びなさい。
Tick-tock. Konomi nods in agreement. Yuji is deeply interested and is wearing a stupid grin.
どっち？
Alright then, I guess I'll leave it up to Tomine.
そっか。
Now, I am just saying this entirely based on bias. However, at the same time, logically speaking as well, their family is a lot better off. So, quite frankly, What's the fucking financial burden of having to feed one more dude for one meal of the day gonna fucking do? Tamane ruffles my hair, looking very pleased.
ああ、タカ君と一緒ならお弁当が豪華になると思ったのに。
たく、このちびっこは。
そうだ、ゆうくん。ゆうくんの嫌いなものって何？
あ？ピーマンに人参にかぼちゃ？なんでだ？
うん。ゆうくんに嫌いなものがあるって言ったら、お母さん作ってくれるかなって思って。ゆうくん、ステーキとか嫌いじゃないの？
このちびっこは。
Let's see. She's at the school gate. Hold on. I saw that expression. Not that one. You know which one I mean. That one. There we go. Personal fucking annoyance!
おーい、高木！
I refuse. Yuji. As I head to the student council room, I hear Yuji exclaim, "What's up? Why do you look so
これ
happy?"
だよ、これ。お前まだ見てなかったのか？
What's this? I ask, and Yuji opens the school newspaper he's holding. School newspaper, their publication date isn't supposed to be day, so it's an extra.
早速話題になってるみたいだぜ。
Yuji grins cheesily, look at his expression suspiciously, and grab the newspaper. The headline is, huh? The era of the two grand old jewel summers has arrived. I boggle at the front page, just full sheet is filled with a huge picture of Kusugawa and
そ
Tamane.
う、姉貴と楠川先輩。
Tamane's recent appointment as vice president. Of course, there's no need to keep it secret. If anything, it must be announced, so it must be expected as a front page news, but I wonder about this. Two grand old jewel summers, isn't that a bit provocative? I don't even know there are a lot of cute girls in the school. Those two do stand out above the rest. Both of them are quite close to me, so I can't really see them in that light. I'm flummoxed, and stark contrast, Yuji is grinning
身
broadly.
内や知り合いにそういう人間がいるっていうのは自分のことじゃなくても鼻が高くなるもんさ。
Seems to see things opposite to me. Yuji tilts his head towards the
Hola.
window. I reluctantly look inside. There are the two people in question. Kusugawa and Tamane. They're probably inspecting something. They're walking through the school grounds. Yuji towers over me and inspects our
二
senpai
人並
below.
ぶとやっぱ迫力だよな。弟ながら姉貴はビジュアルインパクトがでかいと思ったけど、なかなかどうして楠川先輩も存在感あるじゃん。生と銅っていうか、氷と炎っていうか。
Oh yeah? Out of nowhere, Tamane, a third year from Kujo Academy, takes a prominent position. In addition, she's beautiful and accomplished in both literary and martial arts, making her stand out to boys and girls both. On the other hand, while people's views of Kusugawa have changed since the closing ceremony, she's as formidable as ever. Both of them stand out from afar, unattainable flowers, well, for normal people
ま、
anyway.
みんな姉貴の本性を知らないからな。
If people knew of Kusugawa's true charm, she wouldn't lose to Tamane. Then Yuji shrugs like some foreigner in a late-night infomercial.
なるほど。高明は楠川先輩に勝ってほしいわけだ。生徒会長ラボは。
Look, I said that's not the case.
分かってるって。確かにみんな知らなさすぎる。もったいないな。
Yuji looks out the window at the two of them again. The grin on his face vanishes and he
俺も
mumbles.
そう思うぜ。
Yuji? Something about his tone of voice piques my interest. I can't quite put my discomfort into
お
words.
い見ろよ。早速。
I look where he's pointing. Three girls appear before Kusugawa. From the look of it, they're first years. There's no coincidence. It's an obvious ambush. Furthermore, they're clearly restless and look really suspicious. What are they doing? Ask Yuji of their furtive actions.
あれだな。
That?
見てりゃわかるよ。
Yuji seems to have some idea but won't tell me. I guess I'll find out, as he said. I'm watching. It doesn't look like anything dangerous. Kusugawa and Tamane appear surprised by the girl's sudden appearance. Tamane seems to share Yuji's knowledge. She shakes her head and can tell from up here she's thinking good grief. And I can tell from up here she's thinking good grief. On the other hand, Kusugawa cautiously watches the suspicious girls. She appears visibly anxious. What's going to happen? Some kind of protest. The girls take another step forward and then they all thrust something out.
これ？
They take the paper bags offered by the approaching girls. It's a small wrapped bundle. Senpai takes the item and looks at the girls baffled.
あの
Senpai goes to ask timidly, but the girl speaks
そ
for
れじゃ
her.
ごきげんようお姉様方。
ごきげんよう
Senpai repeats their words like a parrot. The girls seem pleased and take off, disappearing from
ごき
sight.
げんよう
But Senpai sits there holding the package dumbfounded, not understanding anything that happened.
よよよ相変わらず女の子にはモテモテだなあれ
And he's dead. Yuji suffers instant death when Tamane returns to the student council room. Kasugawa still looks baffled when she plunks down in a chair and examines the package the girls gave her. Tamane holds out a teapot to her and pours hot
お
water.
茶を入れるわね。お茶受けもあるみたいだし。多分中はクッキーよ。調理実習でもあったんじゃない？匂いでわかるわ。
So we're actually gonna have to like address her eating problems now.
Cookie.
Senpai asks of Tamane, not understanding. Senpai stares at the package. She then sniffs it. Tamane smiles wryly.
その匂いもあるんだけど、前のところでもあったのよ。愛しのお姉様へと、まさか驚愕でやられるとは思わなかったわ。
お姉様私や高坂さんがあの子たちの
へえ、勝手に言ってるだけだけど、生徒会の役員とか部の先輩とか上級生へのちょっとした憧れみたいなものかしら。
そうなんだ
慕ってくれるのだからそんな悪い気じゃないのだけど時々その勢いに唖然とすることもあるわね。
In a different way than Marian's, Tamane adds and smiles cheekily, offering the poor tea to Senpai. So that was just a line she added. Like, I don't know why it looked odd, thought it wasn't. But she neither laughs nor agrees to Tamane's comments, but just sits there staring at the package of cookies.
もしかして楠川さんはそういうの初めて？
そうね
She blushes. Tamane laughs at her flushed face.
意外ね。楠川さんも美人でキリッとしてるから下級生の子に勘違いされたりとか。
そんな私は
She says hesitantly.
そんなこと今までなかったから
This time, Tamane stares at her in amazement.
ラブレターもらったりはしたでしょ？男の子とかから。
Senpai shakes her head silently and says falteringly,
私高坂さんと違って今まで嫌われ者だったから
The atmosphere in the room thickens. No, I wouldn't go so far as to say I hate it. They were just keeping a distance out of respect. Tamane looks at me imploringly. I frantically try to provide backup. But look, now you're getting cookies, so you're popular!
河野さんがいなかったらきっとあのままだったわ
Those girls didn't know the previous Kasugawa. They were probably only testing out whether she really was the serene lady hiding in the shadow of the secluded room. Those girls know of her previous reputation. A heavy silence falls on the room. Who can speak after that? Ends up being someone unexpected.
こんにちはであります
Konomi bounces through the door.
どうしたの
Konomi tilts her head in confusion, not understanding the gloomy atmosphere she broke into. Senpai rubs her eyes and breaks into a smile, saying,
なんでもないのじゃあメンバーも揃ったことだし会議始めましょうか
Meeting after that was nondescript about organizing the school assembly. And after that, it went to idle chatter. It's about time to call it a day. Senpai waits for a time to interrupt and speaks.
今日はこれで上がりましょう
She starts tidying up her files. Tamane and Konomi follow her lead and begin packing their bags. But Senpai moves slower than usual. Not being satisfied with just returning the files she has, she starts working on the files on the shelf. Tamane observes her for a bit and realizes she's not finishing. She calls out,
じゃあ行きましょうか、好み、ユージ。
Wait, are you leaving without me, Tamane? I ask hastily. I'm seeing my startled expression. She only says to me,
高坊はちゃんと楠川さんの手伝いしてなさい。副会長命令よ。
Yeah.
聞こえない聞こえない。
I complain about Tamina ignores me as she leaves the room. What the hell? I finally made friends with Gaga, and now they won't wait for me. That's just deserting me and forcing me to work. Don't they know how heartless that is? I say nothing to release my anxiety. If I say that to Senpai, it'd have the opposite effect, and I'd be in trouble. It might just worsen her impression of me, so saying so would be a total loss. What's Senpai? Her file tidying doesn't appear to be over. Senpai, how about I help?
大丈夫よ。もう終わるから。
In the blink of an eye, she suddenly has put all the files up on the shelves. She does it so fast, she's puffing. It wasn't my time to leave.
ごめんなさい。
She apologized for some reason, blushed embarrassed. Senpai's a little more than usual today. But did something happen? Senpai, did something happen? Are you worried about that incident earlier?
そうじゃないの。
She says, facing away from me. She takes a few deep breaths, then she passes by me as though pretending I'm not there and rummages inside her bag. Looking for something? I watch her suspicious behavior without saying anything. She carefully extracts something and hands it to me.
これ、もらってくれる?
What's this? I'm startled when I look what's in my hand. It's the cookies from those girls. I can't take this. Those girls gave them. I don't really understand their intent. They may have been no deeper meaning, but it was a present for Senpai. Giving them to me instead for the intended recipient is inappropriate. You're an idiot! Consider for 1 second she literally cannot eat them. But she bows and does not take them back.
お願い。困
Senpai,
るの。好きっていう気持ち。まだ、私には。
the voice quivers. If the MC was a Chad, he would say something along the lines of, I don't know, like, well, better get used to it quickly because I already like you a whole lot or something like that. But we all know the MC isn't gonna fucking do that because he's a little baby coward. I finally realized the problem for Senpai is the homemade part. Her body can't accept people's feelings. For years on end, she said it was a physical predisposition. If she's unaware of the source, she could eat it, but as soon as she realized their affection, her body would reject it. Okay, I respectfully take the package. I graciously accept it. She finally raised her head at those words.
ありがとう。ごめんなさい。
And she heard once more, putting people's feelings to waste. Ma-ryan said she couldn't eat homemade food and said it was so important to her. Senpai got angry. But being by her side, I see what she's really frustrated about is her inability to accept people's feelings. For Senpai, who's striving to accept people's feelings, is a big handicap. What we can do for her, that is...
食べたいな。
Huh?
クッキー。手作りの。
I'm taken aback by her tone of voice. Does she really? Senpai, you're not thinking of forcing yourself again.
でも、食べたいの。お腹にね、入るの。きっと嬉しいことなの。
The way she sounds like she says that sounds like she's like an alien pretending to be human, like an alien that can't eat human food pretending to be a human. Like, oh, but I do want to eat them. It must feel very nice to put them in my stomach.
お腹から温かくなって嬉しくなれることだと思うから。
Senpai, then she says
作っ
falteringly,
てくれる？
What?
クッキー。 わかってる。女の子からこんなこと頼むのはなんだかすご
Says her
くおかしい。
voice fading
河野
away.
さんが作ってくれたクッキーなら
Whoops.
食べたいな。
But I'm not. I'm sure someone else like Tamine would be much better at it. She raises her head and touches her fingers to my lips. She then shakes
あ
her
な
head.
たのじゃないとダメなの。あなたのがいいの。その深い意味はないの。練習なの。練習。みんなと付き合っていくならこないだみたいな会食が何度もあると思うから少しずつ慣れておきたいの。
She blushes as she speaks
だ
to
から
me.
まず河野さんが作ったものから頼める？男の子がすることじゃないと思うけど。
No way. I want to do anything I can for her. I shake my head. Not at all. I think it'd be much easier than fried prawns. So I'll do some research if you can
待
wait.
ってる。
She says and smiles with a smile reserved for me. Cookies. I should buy a book on sweets on my way home. I should buy a book on sweets on my way home. I, honest to God, I kind of hope that this route does end up in him just going like full fucking house husband or something like that. Because it's like, that could be a nice change of pace, no? And just roll over in bed and look at the ceiling. There were those ads about sliced deep-fried tofu and fish pancake and chicken and egg meatloaf, kimchi hot pot on TV before I came to bed. Living alone means I don't get the opportunity much, but I'd love to eat hot pot once in a while. And what's the difference between konjac noodles and konjac that's just been sliced really thin? Look, does it really matter? Just go to sleep. The question haunts me. I crawl out of bed and sit down in front of my PC. The same energy as the dude that talked about how he has like a relatively young kid, and one day like a little bit after it was bedtime for the kid, like enough for the kid to have already fallen asleep, probably the kid just like walks into the living room all fucking tired and sleepy and all that, walks up to him like, "Are ducks predators?" Like, yes, asking the important questions. That one could not fucking wait. Boy, still!
もうちょっと。お待たせ。行こう。
She says and rushes down the stairs, taking little steps and quickly puts her shoes on.
どうかした？
When Konami notices me staring at her, she inclines her head. Just that, point to her uniform.
どこか汚れてる？
Konami looks all over her own uniform. Now I was just wondering why you were wearing your old uniform. Is there something on today? Without answering, she frantically removes her shoes and runs up the stairs. Just a simple mistake. Lunch break. Yuji and I head to the cafeteria as always for lunch. While my parents are always away, so I have no choice. Yuji could ask his maid Otamane to make him lunch instead, but he comes to keep me company. He doesn't have a thing for me, does he? Sneak a look at his expression. Yuji sighing at the shrimp and vegetable fritters in front of it, absentmindedly shaking seven spice on the way.
ああ、味気ないな、この学食も。
Don't harp on about it. Of course, the wretchedness that Yuji is referring to isn't his dish. What Yuji wants
色気
is...
がないんだよ、色気が。メイドとか言わねえから、ウェイトレスくらい雇ってくれねえかな。ほら、胸のボイーンって強調されるやつで、かき揚げ丼にハートマーク書いたり、ーンしてくれたり。
A lot of guys want that. Not just the maid uniform.
じゃあさ、せめて女の子同伴になんねえか？ブルマじゃなくて、ノーマルな制服でいいから。
In that case, why not invite Tamane and Konami? I gave the name of two girls nearby, but Yuji just frowned.
あれは女のうちに入んねえよ。お前だってそうだろ？
Well, by gender they're female, but to Yuji they lack what makes them worth admiring. That's why it's easy for me, who's uncomfortable around girls, to hang out
も
with
っ
them.
と華やかで、この貧しい食事をオーラの力で豊かにしてくれる女性は？
Yuji stares at me. Can't have my cream croquettes.
ちげえよ。お前分かっててわざと言ってるだろ。
Yuji leans to me and beckons me over.
高木、どうして彼女を呼ばない？
Her? Figure out his meaning. Marian, in some respect, she's dazzling, but to her, your dish would be tiring and have no life. She's already eaten heaps of what you have in front of you.
お前なあ。
Yuji jumps up on the table and lifts me by the collar when...
何をしてるの？二人とも。学食で。
and it was the presence of someone familiar. Kusugawa!
河野さん。それに、高坂くん。
Wasn't senpai someone who didn't come here?
楠川先輩。
何？
Yuji jumps off the table and grabs senpai's
今まで
hands.
どこにいたんですか？先輩だけが俺のオアシスなんですよ。
Hey, now what are you doing? Grabbing at senpai's hand in the confusion.
高坂くん？
Yuji grabs a chair from the next table and pulls it up to ours, beckoning her to sit.
ありがとう。
Senpai stresses a smile, literally stressed, and timidly perches on the chair.
で、姫様は今日は何をお召し上がりで？不肖高坂雄二が並みいる敵を蹴散らし、姫様のためにお届けいたしますぞ。
私はただジュースを買いに来ただけで。
She was indeed clinging to a vegetable
ああ
juice.
よければ俺のかき揚げ丼でも。まだ手をつけてません。
ええ、 でも
Princess Sasara is suddenly in a bind. She couldn't possibly eat Yuji's vile fritters. That would be torture. I'll have it then. I grab the fritters bowl and stab it with my chopsticks.
はあ、なんでお前が食うんだよ。俺は姫様に差し上げたんだぞ。
I roared Yuji. You idiot! Do you really think a princess could eat fritters?
そうか、そうだったか。河野高明、侮れない男だぜ。まさかお前にお姫様はかき揚げ丼なんて食わないということを教えられるとは。
Yuji babbles something about it having to be at least tempura prawns. Wasn't he the one who drowned it, the one drowning in Senpai's earlier? He wants to feed that to our delicate princess? I can't have peace of mind, or so I thought when Senpai swipes the bowl from
ダ
me.
メよ河野さん。それは高坂くんに返してあげて。
She rebukes me. Tut tut. Yuji's ecstatic.
やーい、怒られた。
Shut up.
でも
Yuji accepts the bowl from Senpai and says
楠川
curiously,
先輩って学食で全然見たことないっすね。
は
先輩案外目立つから俺の目から逃れられないと思うんだけどな。
それは
Senpai looks down and mumbles.
私学食を一度も利用したことがないから。
マジっすか。
ええ。
本当のお嬢様だな、楠川先輩って。学食ではお召し上がりにならないんだって。
そういうんじゃ。
Senpai denies it, flustered. Then she hangs her head and
本当は
whispers.
私もみんなと一緒に食事したいの。でも私体が。
ダイエットっすか。絶食ダイエットはいかんとですよ。だいたいミロのヴィーナスも腰布を置いて逃げ出すそのボディの一体どこに無駄があるっちゅうんですか。神に対する冒涜っす。
そんな私なんかより高坂さんの方が。
Senpai blushes embarrassingly at the hyper bowl.
あれはダメ。あれは悪魔。悪魔に魂売っちゃダメです。守りたい人間の尊厳。
そう
He smiles, looking particularly flustered.
だから先輩、ちゃんと食べないとダメっすよ。
食べてはいるの。でも食べられないものが多いから。
アレルギーっすか。
ええ、それに近いかしら。
先輩が学食に来ないのは日本という国が間違っているからだぞ。
I actually just really want to smash him over the head because this man is clearly way too fucking hyper. Like, he is literally unable to realize the amount of discomfort he is putting her through. This man needs to be fucking beaten back in the floor.
俺はなる。政治家になる。なって日本を変えて先輩の素敵ボディを守ってみせる。
There's something seriously wrong with this guy. That Senpai chuckles at his outbursts. I feel a twinge of alienation at Senpai's and Yuji's unusual connection. After laughing for a bit, Senpai recalls something and inquires.
でもさっきは二人で何を喧嘩してたの？
Senpai was staring at me. Well, you see, I find myself unable to answer those concern-filled eyes. I won't say that Yuji's obscene thoughts would have had Senpai to liven up the place, but Yuji's has no such hesitation.
いやー、こいつが俺のアイディアに非協力的だったから。
アイディア？
俺のマイフェイバリット学食グレードアップ計画に。
学食？ここのこと？
Stop it! Don't listen to Yuji's bullshit. I try to stop it, but I'm shut down.
聞きたいわ。生徒会長として高坂くんの学食の意見を。
Senpai's sense of responsibility fools her into Yuji's talk, pleased by her response. Yuji
俺はもっ
continues.
と学園に彩りがあるべきだと思うんですよ。学園ライフは明るく楽しくなきゃ。
そうね。もっともな意見だわ。
その第一歩として俺はこの学食を改革したい。もっとおしゃれに、もっとアグレッシブに。
そうね。おしゃれにしちゃダメってわけじゃない。でもどうするの？改装工事？そこまでやるには生徒会じゃなくて理事会の了承がないと。
そんなことしなくてもちょっとした工夫で流行の最先端に行けます。売上アップも保証付き。それはメイド。
メイド？
Senpai boggles, completely baffled, inclining her head.
その発音、もしかして分かってない？真実を知ってしまう前の無垢な魂に癒されるな。
You really have no inhibitions.
違います。違いますぞ生徒会長。メイドじゃなくてメイド MAID なんです。
そうなの？気をつけるわ。
And so her pure soul is stained once more.
メイドって最近雑誌とかで見るあれね。あれって 普通のウェイトレスさんや家政婦さんじゃなかったんだ。
ええ、ウェイトレスとは性能が 1.3 倍は違うんです。家政婦だと当社費3倍ですから、ぜひうちの学校でも採用すればここは癒しスポットになります。
Yuji leans forward, pleading to Senpai. Look out, Senpai, I thought, but...
そうしたいのは山々なんだけど、
Senpai says
人や
apologetically.
メイドロボを新しく雇うことになるでしょ。お金がかかるし、それはやっぱり理事会の承認なしにはできないと思うの。
Hearing Senpai's words, Yuji lowers himself into the chair feebly.
隠しいけてると思ったのに。
Of course not. In which world do schools employ maids?
いや、女子生徒の制服がメイドって学校がどこかの世界にあると俺は信じてる。
Are you for real? Yuji seems shocked to have his hopes dashed so soon, but Yuji's response seems to have piqued Senpai's interest. She expectantly asks.
でもそんなにいいものなの？メイドって。
メイド。
ごめんなさい。
Senpai covers her mouth at her slip, but Yuji has a soft spot for girls. He doesn't get stuck on that point and begins ranting about his maid.
いいも悪いも可愛いんです。癒されるんです、メイドは。
癒される？
ご主人様とか言われて尽くされてコロッといかない男は不能っすよ。
コロッと。
夜なんかになるとそりゃもう絵にも言われぬ。
Yuji! I frantically interrupt him when his discussion takes an absurd direction. The senpai blushes, apparently already shocked.
ともかくメイドは男のロマン。男はみんなメイド好き。結婚したら一度はみんなメイドプレイするんです。高明だってメイド大好きっ子なのにむっちりスケベだから己の欲望をひた隠してるんだ。
Senpai, hearing this, turns her gaze and stabs me with it. I have no such hopes. Don't listen to him, Senpai. Taking Yuji's words seriously will ruin you. Senpai? Perceiving my vehement response, Senpai barely nods. After lunch, we shake off Yuji, walk our lunches off, though. To walk our lunches off, though. Senpai only had juice and head out. But every so often, Senpai thinks of something and chuckles. Senpai?
ごめんなさい。でもなんだかおかしくて。
She says, looking really amused.
高坂くんっておかしな人ね。
Somewhat positive comments, especially considering he's the king of sexual harassment. I get a little annoyed when I think he's downright crazy, and constantly reject him. It was all clingy and touchy to you. She puts on a strained smile, remembering.
そうね。それはちょっと苦手かな。
That's right, he's a pervert. Please be careful, senpai.
そうね。
I can consciously declare myself, but I wouldn't do such a thing to you. I probably want the senpai to know that I'm like Yuji. I want to know and treat her properly. Realize that I'm being a little self-assertive. It's probably jealousy, pathetic. So I look at her reaction. I hoped for a positive response, probably, but her response.
そうね。河野さんはしないわ。そんなこと。
She said, looking down, a little frustrated at the unexpected reaction.
河
Senpai?
野さん。
Then she asked me a little
河野
hesitantly.
さんは普段何を考えてるの？
Usually. About senpai. Just senpai. Nothing but senpai mad. But I couldn't say that it's a little proper and would sully her as soon as I say it. But senpai sees right through me and asks.
高坂くんみたいにメイドのこと考えたりする？
Wow. Did you spot my indecent side? So I wish I were dead. After some decision, I finally say that I don't. Not like that. I don't think of him. But she asks just to be sure.
じゃあずっと前私のおっぱい触って気持ちいいって本当のこと？
That! It was an accident. I don't want to do that again. I won't do that again. He said she wasn't comfortable with Yuji touching her earlier. So if she's uncomfortable with her hand, her boobs must be absolutely off limits. I don't want to hurt her like that, I think, but even though it was an accident, I couldn't help but feel her boobs and arse. And they did feel pretty good. In some ways, that makes me worse than Yuji. I am disgusted. Disgusting, do you think? I wanted to ask, but you couldn't finish. Senpai, that's all I managed to say. Then she says,
ごめんなさい。おかしなこと聞いて。
but I...
いいの。河野さんが悪いんじゃないわ。
He says and smiles, as something wasn't good, I think. But that smile can't shake off the unease deep within me. God, this is taking ages right now. I wonder if Senpai's still angry. After school, I mull over that as I make my way to the student council room. Senpai seemed to be somewhat displeased. I wonder if it's because she noticed my perverted thoughts. It's gonna be hard to face her, but it's what I cannot go. wave her over and over again. In the end, go to the student council room. Hello? Huh? Things look different than usual. Kasugawa isn't where she is. Her designated seat. Lodging in her place is Aunt Marian. Where's Kasugawa? She's not in her usual place. I look at Marian fretfully. Don't tell me she refused to come to work over that issue. However, Marian has her feet up on the desk, and being in a miniskirt makes it hard to know where to look, and answers carelessly.
そうりゃん、あの子はちょっとお仕事でお支度中なのだ。
Preparing for some business.
そんなそわそわしなくたってすぐに合わせてあげるから。
It's a maid outfit.
ほんと、タカリャンはサーリャンのことばっか考えてるね。たまにはマーのことも考えてシンキング。いつもパンツ見せてるんだから。
They're very alluring.
けー。
Realizing it's saying so has no effect, Senpai eventually puts her feet
あ、
down.
冗談はさておいて。
Lies will have their tongues pulled out until they tell the truth. Senpai ignores my joke
サーリャ
and
ン
says,
はちょっと立て込んでるので、私が生徒会長代行なのだ。
Shouldn't that be the job of the fucking vice
別に
president?
サーリャンを亡き者にして簒奪したとかじゃないから。亡き者にするくらいなら慰み者にするし。
But in that case, Vice President Tamane would, Marian interrupts.
ダメ。タマちゃんは今回使えん。怒るから。
Angry? What about? Right then, Tama comes in.
どうしたのタカボー。またマーリャン先輩にいじめられたの？
Teasing. Does it look like that? Does it look like that's what I'm doing?
タカリャンに私のパンツの匂いを嗅がせてた。タマちゃんもやってみるか？その前にその川にいそうなあだ名やめていただきたいのですが。
She's worrying about that? That's so like Tamane ignoring me.
そう、たまたま却下します。ではタカリャンから見てタマ姉だから、年上の私から見るとタマ妹。略してタマ妹ってのはどうだこの野郎。タマちゃんでいいです。
Tamane gives up, worn out. You know it's fucking bad when Tamaki gives up on it. I didn't think anyone on Earth could beat Tamane. Oh, no matter how much damage Marian would take, she'd just walk on as the living dead. Does she even have a weak point? We all take our seats and Marian says,
じゃあ今日の会議を始めよっか。
her statement brings us to business. What's on today's agenda? Marian hands me a sheet of
これ
paper.
これ。
What seemed to be from the suggestion box. I take it and read out loud. Regarding improvements to the
そうなのだ。
cafeteria,
それが今日のシンキングなのだ。
Marian stands up from her seat and
味
crows.
気ない学食をより豊かなものにしたい、癒しの空間にしたいっていう意見に私は感動したぞ。
Yuji got to her. Some tells me I've heard this somewhere
で、
before.
私はスーパーバイザーの意見を参考に新コンセプト展をテスト出展してみることにした。好評なら明日からでもフルタイムでやる予定。ゆくゆくは外部にも開放してチェーン展開、独立採算を目指すのだ。
It's an ambitious plan, but there's one fundamental question. What sort of stall will this be? And I'm glad you asked. The way Marian smiles.
それは百聞は一見にしかず。
Huh?
実はもう作ってみました。放課後の学食を借り切って。
Eh? It's way too fast over development. Already approved due to Kusugawa being away, and now, even if she was here, it would have been the same. 3/4 of us are dumbfounded, the fourth being the newly converted Marian, as we arrive at the cutting-edge trial stand. But, where's the difference? The interior design and menu looks the same as always. Look around, check the menu, just to be sure, taste the food, but it's the same wretched cafeteria. I detect no change at all.
お金や手間をかければいいってもんじゃないぞ、タカリャン。
Well, sure, but
ふふふのふ。最小の予算で最大の効果。集客力 200% オフ。
actually 200% off customers would mean nobody. She really seems to just choose English terminology on instinct.
学食という器は同じだけど、スーパーバイザーの意見を最大限に取り入れて、その精神性を変革したのだ。
Spiritual.
どうやらこの学食の真の姿を見せる時がやってきたようだね。
Senpai shuts over the kitchen door and plays around.
では召しませ、最終兵器。
Senpai throws open the door. Inside is
いらっしゃいませ、旦那様。
Senpai! Inside is the missing Kuzugawa. Furthermore, what the fuck is that outfit? It's almost a swimsuit, but it's not a swimsuit you'd wear in summer or a beach house. Is there too much water in her brain? Is that all this? That's all this deed conveys to me. Marian goes over to Kuzugawa and pokes her boobs with a stick.
やってきたお客様にはお帰りなさい。これ基本。
ごめんなさい先輩。
先輩じゃない。ご主人様と呼べ。
申し訳ありません。ご主人様。
Marian's punishment makes Kuzugawa writhe in agony. It may hurt, but she's paralyzed mainly from embarrassment. That's kind of off suffering it appears to be. Basically, it's really sexy. Marian, what's... I can barely say anything but Marian
スク
declares.
ミズメイド。サーリャンの最終進化系だぞ。
Maid. One does not put a hairband, cuffs, an apron with a stewed ghoul swimsuit. What on earth kind of maid is that? Marian's gestures at my gaping self
タ
rebukes
カリャン
me.
のバカチン。格好はどうでもいいの。大事なのはメイドの心なの。
Then there's even less of a reason for her to be in a swimsuit. In which case, isn't that outfit totally
い
unnecessary?
や、スーパーバイザーが今はスクミズこそ世界の最先端だって言うから。
The unusual supervisor in question walks out, and I already know who it is. There can only be one guy in the world that fits the bill. Yuji!
ダメ。もっともっと胸をこう突き。
でも
恥ずかしがってそんなことで世界メイド選手権で金メダルが取れると思ってる
Yeah,
の
at this point, I
か。
would actually just beat the shit out of him because he's blatantly forcing her to do something that she's not comfortable with. Like, at that point, I just cannot approve of Yuji as a fucking character anymore. He's just a dirtbag at this point. Fuck him.
あいたたたたたたたたた。
ユージ、楽しそうね。
I leave Yuji and Tom in his hands. Meanwhile, Marian, you're being a menace to Senpai again! Did you force her to do this? Joining Marian, but Senpai's expression is one of surprise.
脅してって私をそういう目で見てるのかね。私やユーリャンがアイデア出したのは事実だけど、サーリャンの方からやりたいって言ってきたんだぞ。サー
Kuzugawa!
リャン恥ずかしがってたけど強要してない。自分からあれ来て私に可愛いとか触りたくなるって聞いてた。
I'm astonished by her words. Those from timid Senpai, unbelievable. So I shout, nothing but lies! Senpai would never say that! Senpai recollects something.
なるへそ。どうしてサーリャンが自分から周知プレイに走ったのかよーくわかった。
Marian says and stares
サー
at
リ
me.
ャンかわいそう。
What? You're the one who put her up to this! Anyway, please put an end to this at once! Look away from her gaze, pleading. Senpai
い
teehees.
や、もう遅いのだ。
Huh?
宣伝用のチラシをあちこちにばらまいておいたのだ。スーパーバイザーが。
She says and points to the late Yuji. It is all the supervisor's fault. Marian!
もう遅いぞ。我らの完全勝利だ。
Senpai runs to the entrance, pushes open the door. I scramble to push it shut, but I'm
で
too
は
late.
真相回転オープン。
Waves of guys dammed up at the door come flooding in.
お帰りなさいませ旦那様。
生徒会長のメイド。スクミズメイド生徒会長。恥じらってる。クールビューティーの生徒会長がもだえて快感に溺れてる。
She's not drowning! I tried to hold them back, but I'm overwhelmed by the deluge. They swiftly burst through. Marian puts up a table and calls out the customers in a megaphone.
チャージ料は30分1000円。ドリンク1杯付き。たっけ。何を言う。キャバレーならもっとぼったくるぞ。
This is not a cabaret! There's no longer a cafeteria. This is some kind of rendition of hell. The agonizing cries, the excitement. Our school swimsuit maid is driven up onto a table at Tamane and Konomi and I desperately defend her. But of course, there's no way the staff room wouldn't notice this uproar. A voice
こら
demands.
これは何の騒ぎだ。お前須川。生徒会長で貧困法制のお前が露出プレイか。
The teacher shouts, holding a handkerchief to his nose.
露出プレート来たか。先生の好みは露出プレート知ってりゃ追試ナッシング。あーいでででで
またお前か。そうやって世間知らずなクス川を騙しよって。その年でいじめか。
いじめじゃないもん。めでてるんだもん。
Yeah, this entire situation is just straight up not fucking funny to me, by the way. Like, they're essentially using a girl's fucking insecurities to just pull off this massive fucking bullshit and essentially showcase her to the fucking world. Like, I actually just... I was being very, like, tame on my general thoughts on Marian. Like, yes, she will mess around a lot, but she'll, like, mostly care about her well-being and shit like that. At this point, I actually would not fucking care if she was run over by a fucking car. Because she's just straight up clearly gone way fucking past anything that is decent to do for someone you supposedly care about. Like, literally any scene where she, like, genuinely gets angry at the MC for, like, doing, like, pussying out, essentially, quote-unquote. Nothing of that means anything anymore, because quite clearly she doesn't fucking care about the person. She just cares about her fucking tits. And that's fucking it. Piss off, you piece of shit.
先生だってサーリャンのムチプリに興奮したくせに。
もう勘弁ならん。今日は親御さんを呼んでやる。しっかり尻を叩いてもらえ。
Ringleaders dragged off to the staff room. Marian's mother apparently came in the evening, and the cracking sounds of bottom spanking and Senpai's wailing cries resounded in the student counseling room. Thus, the dream of the school swimsuit maid cafeteria evaporated in a day, but the legend of the student council president as school swimsuit maid was passed on for eternity. By the way, photos of Kusagawa in the school swimsuit outfit are sold on black market for 50,000 yen apiece. Ryuji now has a new digital SLR with 3 lenses, but that's another story. In the end, though, we were questioned by the police. It was put down to Marian's impulsive behavior. We got let off, but it was night by then. No, don't put it off to only Marian's impulsive behavior. Yuji's also at fucking fault. Both of these bastards are now on my official shit list for this game. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm actually mad enough to the point where... You know what? I hope and fucking pray that she does not have a fucking route in this. But even if she did, I just wouldn't do it at this point. Like, fuck her. ToHeart2. Ma-ryan. VNDB. She actually does have a route in ToHeart2 on other days. So even if that did have an actual translation, which it doesn't, I just straight up wouldn't fucking do it. Like, they put her, like, front and center on the cover, I still wouldn't fucking do that route. Fuck her. Piece of garbage human being. With lead and legs, I drag myself home, but more than myself, I worry about who's trailing behind me. Kusagawa, school swimsuit maid outfit, are tucked away in her bag, having been through an awful din, and awkward silence fills my ears. Why did that happen? There's a lot of questions that I should ask, but... is this my fault? Did you turn delinquent because of my betrayal? Thinking about me being perverted?
Kono-san.
Yes. I jump around at the sudden call. Senpai is blushing and hanging her head. She says to me, her voice fading away.
可愛かった?
Huh?
可愛かった? 私.
Why is she asking me that? I'm just curious. My brain is a slobbering mess, but the answer still comes to me. Senpai, my voice is agitated as I speak. You're cute even without that weird outfit. I feel like I'm about to run away, but I hold the line and tell her. So please have self-confidence. Everyone thinks you're cute. She raises her head a little, and I look at her. She raises a little more, and she looks at me, and then... she smiles, a little relieved. I stand in front of her. Please don't get wrapped up in Marian's nonsense. She nods apologetically at my words.
でもね、もし河野さんが
What if I wait for her words to come? She leaves the rest unsaid.
なんでもないわ。また今度。
Next time what? Senpai strolls off. Right when I think she's about to leave, she turns and says brightly.
また今度。
Yeah, I'm genuinely in a bit of a fucking foul mood because of that. Fuck all of that. I was like, one of the people that tends to comment on my videos. You can literally like check back on last part. Risky. He always like for damn near every visual novel that I play, he almost has like this. Almost always has this one character that he jokingly just like fucking hates. You know, sometimes he actually genuinely fucking hates him, but a lot of the time I can tell that it's just jokingly. And for this game, he picked out Ma-ryan essentially. I officially fucking condone him just committing hate crimes on Ma-ryan. Can't sleep. I'm wide awake. It doesn't matter how long I close my eyes, I just end up opening them again and looking around. It's annoying just laying here, so I turn on the light, get up. I prepared a suite of different reading material of difficult reading material for just such an occasion. Now, what should I read? Cookbook. Can't sleep because I'm hungry, so I grab a cookbook. Wait, what the heck? 2 cups of consomme soup and 2 teaspoons of olive oil. What's a teaspoon? I mean, I've seen a bunch of measuring spoons of various cc capacities in the cooking store, but how big are tablespoons and a teaspoon? I specifically only picked the fucking cookbook because the man still needs to make cookies for Sasara. Why'd you bring me way out here?
いや、いいもん見せてやろうかと。
It's gonna be something good like fucking yesterday, because if yes, I'm gonna have to fucking beat you with an inch of your fucking life. That was a lot of fucking in that sentence. Something good that Yuji brought me was,
いい眺めだろう。
tennis court. Skirts of tennis girls are fluttering while they practice. What are you showing me?
何言ってやがる。ちゃんとスコート履いてるんだから見てもいいんだって。
The motive's what's in question here. Damn you, Yuji. If you wanted to see them, you could have just come yourself instead of making me an accomplice. What's more, some inconvenient people seem to appear and bide when I'm like this.
何をしているの？
I'm startled by a voice behind us. Kusugawa! Senpai walks up to it and looks at the
Tennis?
courts. Well,
高明がテニス部のスコートが萌えって言うからそれに付き合って。
you're the one who did that! Frantically refute the unexpected accusation, but I can't tell if Senpai's listening to my explanation. She grips the fence and stares at the tennis club girls. Then she looks over the waist and hitches up her school uniform skirt. Senpai! Senpai! Senpai?
何？河野さん。
What on earth are you...
たまにはテニスでもしようと思って。
But...
テニスコートはちゃんと借りました。生徒会長の権限で。
She randomly felt like seizing the tennis courts. But while doing it in uniform, at least change it to your tracksuit.
制服のままじゃないと意味がありません。
Huh?
なんでもありません。
Like, at this point, she is literally just on the attack towards him. Which, that's the fucking issue, because it makes her susceptible to, like... buying into Yuji's bullshit. Like, the issue... Like, a big issue with this entire thing is that Yuji pulls him into some fucking bullshit, and then immediately pushes the narrative that it was him trying it, which then makes Sasara think, okay, that's what he likes, I'll fucking try that as well. Now I'm fucking scared that this is just gonna be the rest of the fucking route until they finally get together. Which I am, if that's the case, I'm just immediately not going to enjoy this route anymore. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, come on, fuck off. Hold on. No. Just need to fucking rant real quick. There we go. Done with the fucking rant. Senpai blushes and looks away.
とにかく高明さん行きますよ。
Senpai waves her racket around, practicing her serve. Wow, an incredible swooshing sound. Is that body so powerful? With her form, it would hurt to be a ball. Furthermore, with every swing, her skirt flutters up slightly, so I can almost see, so I can almost see, such that I can't see the ball at all. I hold my racket nervously, confirming my readiness. Senpai flings the ball into the air. Then, the ball plops to the ground underneath her. The racket strikes air only. Senpai? Senpai picks up the ball as though nothing happened and throws it in the air again. Then, the ball leaves him scratching by the racket and falls onto the court. Senpai hastily picks up the ball and throws it even higher. However, not a scratch. Senpai gets pissed off and throws the ball as high as heaven and swings the racket over and over again. Ah! Well, something is served, but it isn't the ball. Senpai's racket comes flying towards me. Senpai falls into heavy despondence and sits on the court. She's not crying, is she? Senpai probably has the power, but she has no reflexes to speak of. In the end, I had no idea what she wanted to do playing tennis. Oh. Again, it's dumb and danger. Personalized. Kuzugawa. Eke out to Kuzugawa. We're not missionaries, so why is there a group for Bible readings with 8 club members too? Kuzugawa forces a smile.
流行ったんです。昔そういうのが。
それはまだいい方よ。マンホール研究会って一体何？
おお、学園アイドル券ってあるんじゃねえか。活動内容、学園アイドルのスカウトと育成。
そこ盗撮がバレて廃部になりました。
あ、
私これいいかも。激カレー愛好会。活動内容、カレーを食べること。ただしカレーは辛さ10倍からスタート。今日は部活の寸評会ではないんですが。
Everyone's obsessing over the files today, but Senpai doesn't find it amusing to comment on weird club activities. Let's rewind the discussion a little to see how we got here. Senpai, the ultimate like-minded club, has applied for a club room.
エクストリーム同好会。
Kuzugawa looks over the application form and sighs.
そうね。あそこ、前の主催の人が大会で優勝して以来、部員が増えて公認同好会の基準を満たすようになったから。
Senpai frowns and stares at the form. The activities of school's associations of like-minded people are by their nature pleasing to the student council. Actual results they leave behind increase their budget, so it's only natural for them to eventually receive facilities. Being hugely successful does not guarantee facilities or a higher budget. It's a fact that it does act as a motivator to the club members. But for President Kuzugawa, there are other factors involved that displease her. But is there a spare room available? Senpai sighs, her expression tells it the full story. Right, there isn't. It's beyond the scope of the school. There are 3 types of clubs in the school. The standard clubs that always get a budget and room allocation. The clubs of like-minded people that have no budget but get preferential use of facilities and a fixed location for their activities. And those with no budget that have no permission to use classrooms, proudly calling themselves unofficial. The school has traded off freedom for tradition. Because of that, various clubs are crowned with members. From the outside, it would appear that they're all doing fine, but in reality, it's survival of the fittest. The school also only has a limited budget to allocate. Naturally, fierce competition leads to rival leaders staking out their share of the budget and the rooms. Ma-ryan got carried away and approved dubious like-minded clubs pressuring the budget. Senpai sighs again and she doesn't need to say we can't. While there have been progress, it might disturb the balanced budget of standard school club activities.
仕方がないわ。
She slaps her cheeks to motivate herself. Her expression cools and transforms into that from the serious student counselor before. She has to deliver a decision as the heartless student council president. Then she looks to all the gathered members and declares,
書類だけのペーパー同好会や活動内容が思わしくない同好会がいくつもあるはずです。ですから同好会の実態調査を行い、基準を満たさない同好会は生徒会長の権限で 認可を取り消します。
And so that's how all the student council set out to audit every club of like-minded people. However,
活動内容が怪しくて物質の使用をしている同好会はほとんどないわ。
Senpai says again, well, if you think about it, it's not unexpected that such activities wouldn't have a lot of room. We increased our scrutiny of the applications. So I scrutinized those clubs that do have use of facilities to see if there's something I missed. Senpai, how about this? This clearly doesn't meet the criteria. Here, look. I show her one of the forms. The Occult Research Club.
オカルト研究会？
There are 0 present members. It's completely inactive, yet it hasn't had its room withdrawn. Shall we go check out the room? If that's the case, in one blow we can. Senpai? Senpai doesn't respond. Confused, I watch Senpai's expression stiffen. What's the matter? I stare at her.
どうもしないわ。
She was the last member of the occult club before she became a member of the student council. Not a chance, her voice is stuttering. Say, is there something about the occult research club? She raised her head so violently it looks like it's about to fly off. Well, let's go check it out. I point at the occult research page, but
あ
Senpai...
らあら、河野さん、そこには何も書いてないわ。もううっかりしてるわね。
Totally staged, even her smile is cracking. Senpai quit it with the strange jokes. Then Senpai wails. What?
そんな同好会はないの。存在しないの。幻なの。
But...
行かないの。行きたくないの。お願い。
What the fuck is happening? Senpai is seriously bawling now.
それは見なかったことにして。
What on earth happened at this occult research club? Despite my doubts, I crumple up the paper and toss it out, moving on to the next association. So, the survival game research.
あそこはいつも山にこもっているので、物質は持ってないわ。
The equity investment research practice.
そこは投資の利益で学外に部屋を借りているので、こちらから介入できないの。
How about the Amphibian Research Society? Amphibian. Feel premonition, look at Senpai. She looks uncomfortable and diverts her gaze from me looking outside. One member. Activity is observing frogs and salamanders. Room is the student council room. A sigh, seeing that, and tell Senpai. Denied, using student council room isn't prohibited. I strike through it with a red pen.
河野さん。
No! You're the student council president!
意地悪。
Senpai mutters. But salamanders are so cute. That doesn't make it reasonable. Jeez. When did she sneak her application in? Abolishing the Amphibian Research Society wouldn't free up the student council room, though. Next, I spot a brand new application. What about this? I lift the form from the pile. Still pounding, Senpai looks at the association application.
ミステリ研究会？
Skawa has a suspicious
登
expression.
録会員数は1名。公認同好会の部員数規定を全く満たしてないわ。非公認ね。でも
Senpai notices one detail.
物質は第二用具室？
なんだそりゃ。
Yuji asks, Senpai thinks.
確か体育館に普段使ってない物置みたいなところがあるの。でも場所も分かりにくくて、用具室というより不用品入れみたいなところよ。
So they're not normally used.
それなら
What if we reclaim it? Tamane, Senpai, and I exchange glances. Let's go, Senpai, to the Mystery Research Association. We journey to the Zoo-Cold Gymnasium Equipment Room number 2. Here?
多分
The door is indeed labeled Equipment Room 2. As Senpai said, it's like a walk-in closet, and rather than an equipment room, it's more of a dead space. However, it has a door, and there was nothing unusual about it. Shall we look inside?
ええ。
I had you open the door. That's it? We look at each other. Tamane signals Yuji to scout ahead.
うわー、本当にここ使ってんのか？
Okay, the fact that this has a background means that one of the routes you're gonna end up in whatever club uses this one.
ずいぶん散らかってる。掃除してないみたいね。
Yeah. There are sandwich packages and used boxes, and there's indeed a space of sorts. Space is supposed to be cluttered with rubbish, and it's hard to picture people using it. Hello, anyone here?
バカ、見りゃわかるだろ。使ってるかどうかだって怪しいぜ。
Well, just making sure.
でも広さも十分みたいだし、ミステリの研究なら図書館で活動してもらえばいいわけだから。
Thomas says, glancing around. Wouldn't call the space useful, but if you close your eyes. Senpai nods in agreement.
そうね。一応点検して問題なさそうなら今日中に引き渡しを行いましょう。
Okay. We checked that there are no leaks or breakages. It looks filthy but useful. If we claim it should be pretty. Huh? I noticed something unusual before me. Is that an egg sandwich? The use by date is today. What's that doing here? Looks out of place. Huh? Ow! I writhe in pain for being wailed on with some sort of stick.
MIB ね、私の秘密の研究資料は絶対に渡さないよ。
What? 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 Oh, her. Turn around and there's a girl with an unusual air hefting a bamboo sword. The senpai, seeing my situation, run over and start to grapple
さ
with
ては
her.
仲間ね。たとえ人類が私一人になっても真実は守り抜くんだから。違います。誤解なんです。私たちは不審なものじゃありません。え？生徒会のものなんです。ソチャです。
Thanks. Take the paper cup with green tea poured out from a plastic
ご
bottle.
めんね。てっきり MIB かと思ったんよ。
MIB?
だって黒服でにやけ顔の東洋人だったもんだから。
Effeminate Orientals in black suits. So does that make you Incan?
でも生徒会長様がわざわざうちに来てくれるなんて。
Self-proclaimed president of the Mystery Association, Karin Sasamori, styles up to senpai, her eyes sparkling.
もしかして同好会の降臨を。
Senpai reels back to flee from Sasamori's excitement. When she knows there's nowhere to go, she clears her throat and puts on her usual serious expression.
残念ですがじゃあこのミステリ研究会は公認同好会の基準を満たしていません。非公認同好会である以上物質の使用権は公認同好会の方にあるんです。ですから生徒会長の権限でこの部屋の明け渡しを要求します。
Sasamori raised her voice to unheard levels in front of Senpai's ultimatum.
理不尽なんよ。権力横暴。
悪いけどこれは規則なの。だいたいミステリ犬なんでしょ。推理小説の研究なら図書館を使えばいいじゃない。
Tamina presses for an answer, but Sasamori shakes her finger. Tisk, 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 you're wrong.
うちのミステリは世を忍ぶ仮の姿。本当はミステリー。
Mysteries? That's mystery novels, like Agatha. What on earth is different about that?
それに
Tamina's cue, Konomi reads out the application form.
活動内容は馬の調査と捕獲。
馬でミステリーバンじゃない。
私はディックだと思うんだけど。
Yeah, for some reason they
違
literally just
うんよ。
forgot to voice
それ
that.
はユーマ。
Yuma?
アンアイデンティフィルミステリアスアニマル。略してユーマ。
Well, we have like a blue-haired one, like right next to our class. Capture that one, please.
ちなみに和製英語だから外国に行ったらヒルンアニマルとかミステリーアニマル。未確認動物のことなんよ。
So, like the snake creature Tsuchinoko or Nessie the Loch Ness monster.
ピンポ
Sasamori shakes my hand, congratulating me on getting it
ーン。
right.
他にも UFO とか超能力とかの研究もやってるんよ。ぜひその知識を我が同好会に。
Snap interrupts flatly.
残念ですがそのようないかがわしい秘密結社みたいな同好会を認めるわけにはいきません。生徒会の権限でミステリ犬は即刻廃部に。
Impress Vincent come back.
いかがわしくないんよ。そりゃ設立して以来土の子もクッシーも滝太郎も捕獲できてないけど。
Sasamori desperately tries to convince Senpai.
ねえねえ滝太郎って。
Konomi clings to my sleeve as she asks me. I think that was some sort of massive salmon.
鮭？おい、それじゃあ滝太郎って未確認生物でも何でもねえだろ。
Nah, it was caught and eaten many times in the past, but now its real form is
で
unclear.
も捕まえた人もいるんだよね。
Yeah, you stare at Sasori. Incredibility abolished? Abolishment decided.
そんな人を偏見の目で見るなんて生徒会長はそういう人なの？でも
Senpai looks to us for support. We all nod without
だ
speaking.
ったらせめて最後のチャンスを。チャンス？みんなで体験入部してほしいんよ。ミステリ犬が宇宙からの侵略に対抗している真面目で有意義な存在であるのを知ってもね、お願い。もしダメなら即廃部でいいから。わかりました。ほんの少しだけ。やったー。じゃあこの仮入部届に。
Sasori hands out the form. Tamane frowns.
まさか記入して1週間そのままだと本入部になったりしないわよね。
Sasori suddenly starts to whistle. I read the provisional club enrollment form out loud. The fine print below says that if the application form is not withdrawn within a week, we will become full members.
笹森さん、一気に公認と思ったのに。
Don't give us tisk! We refuse to fill in the forms we just ended up investigating.
本当に大丈夫でしょうね。
今回は大丈夫だから。本当に仮。でも気に入ったら本入部してほしいな。
気に入ったらね。
Not me, I mutter.
で、何やるんだ？
Yuji asks. She mentions some dubious activities, but what exactly does she want us to do? Sasori clears her throat and declares.
じゃあ学会でも認められた驚きの技術を披露してあげる。
Skill.
人呼んで対抗催眠。
Aggression hypnotherapy.
そう、対抗催眠。催眠療法なんかで使われるんよ。人をトランス状態にして記憶を過去へ引き戻すの。トラウマの治療に使ったり。
ああ、時々テレビで見るな。
Yuji nods knowingly. Sasori also nods. Yes, yes.
UFO 特番でアブダクションされた人にかけてるあれ。
Deductions. Her example sucks my faith away. But that doesn't seem to bother her. After sizing us up, she sidles up to Senpai.
被験者は生徒会長にお願いできるかな。ええ、いいけど。
Senpai is suspicious but agrees nonetheless. You sure? I can take your place? I ask her, but she shakes her head.
うん。これも生徒会長の仕事だから。
No, it's not. It's not the job of the student council president. Regardless, Senpai steps forward. Sasori pulls out a gym mat on the floor and points to it.
じゃあここに寝てくれるかな。
Senpai rarely lies down. We watch her as we hold her up
い
breath.
い？じゃあまず催眠状態にするよ。ワン、ツー、スリー。
Sasori snaps her fingers. Then Senpai looks sound asleep. No way.
マジで寝ちゃったのか？
みたいね。
But I didn't think you could really. Everyone looks Sasori in surprise and envy. She chuckles shyly and
いや
says,
ー私もびっくり。テレビの真似しただけなんだけど。
she is just too susceptible to hypnosis. Eh? So,
私実は天才かも。
hang on. Senpai was put in a trance with just that? Senpai? Senpai? Senpai! Call out to her, but there's no response. She doesn't even appear to be breathing. Wow, what do we do? Can we reverse it?
さあ
Don't know!
とりあえずどこまでやれるか試してみるということでは。生徒会長、楠川さん、あなたは今どこにいるのかな。
Sasori asks Senpai. For a while, Senpai doesn't move. Then half a minute later, she finally opens her mouth.
うち家か。じゃああなたは今何歳？
Then Senpai starts counting on her
一
fingers.
つ、二つ、三つ、四つ、
A perfectly childish speech, no way.
八つ。
She really did regress! I'm trembling while I plead with Sasori. That's enough. Bring her back.
もうタカちゃんってばもったいないな。
Sasori shrugs.
はいはい。じゃあささらちゃん、お目覚めの時間ですよ。ワン、ツー、スリ
Sasori snaps her fingers. Senpai's eyes snap open with the sound. Are you okay, Senpai? I inspect her face, worried, and Senpai tilts her head, unusually cutely.
Senpai?
Something's wrong. She doesn't recognize me. Do you know who I am? She shakes her no again, cutely, then answers all smiles.
Papa.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Why did I chuck bottles across the room? I don't know. I don't know. Just fucking felt like it. Don't fucking question me. No, don't fucking question me. Great. Huh? She looks at Tamane and delivers the final blow. Assuming the worst possible scenario, carefully ask her, so, how old are you now? Waving up and down, she throws herself into her answer. She has come back!
Papa,
She says and goes to sip on my lap. Senpai? They go to stop her, but Senpai looks at me with tears in her eyes.
Papa, Sasaraのこと嫌い?
No, not such a good girl. I shake my head, unable to win against the crying girl. Senpai smiles and climbs onto my lap. The squadron of girls around me all stabby with their eyes.
羨ましいぞ。俺と役変われ。
話がややこしくなるから少し黙ってなさい。
Completely indifferent to the catastrophe before Sasara is lolling about on my lap. I'm feeling lightheaded at the feel of such supple thighs. If she asks Papa what's that hard thing on my bottom, I'll commit suicide on the spot. After a short while, she starts squirming. What's wrong?
Papa?
Does she? Oh no! I have a terrible premonition. If she says that she needs to use the toilet, I'm leaving. What is it, Sasara? I get a bad feeling. Sasara coyly says to me.
Sasara, おしっこ.
I'm going to commit not alive. I don't know how long I was gone, and quite frankly, don't fucking care.
おしっこ.
Sasara begs, fidgeting, rubbing her bottom against me. I manage to hold on to my reasoning. No, go with Mama. But 4-year-old Senpai appears to be rather spoiled.
いや、パパと一緒に行く.
She begs me in a loud voice. No, you cannot! I reason, but with her being mentally 4, it doesn't quite go well.
一緒にいてくれないならここでしちゃうもん.
Ah! Mama! Unable to resist anymore, I appeal to Mama at Tamane.
はいはいはい。
Tamane grabs her hand and bundles her out of the equipment room.
もう 世話が焼けるんだから。
はーい、ささらちゃん。
Intermission! We somehow overcame that crisis! Observe Senpai, Sasara. Sasara-chan is being fed, as per Princess Sasara's request, Konomi's octopus dumplings.
かわいいな、かわいいな、あれ。
Yuji tugs my uniform, pointing at Sasara. You're really fine with just about
大
anything.
人の体に子供の心、燃えるじゃねえか。
Fucking pervert. But I do see its appeal. I don't. I'd have trouble deciding whether Sasara or Sasara is a bit cuter. I look at Senpai. Huh? Seeing Senpai eat the dumplings, I get a bad premonition. Does she usually eat them? But it is Senpai. Perhaps when she was 4, it wasn't so particular. Well, let's leave that for now.
完璧ね。
Is someone pleased about Senpai being like that? Way too perfect! Hurry up and turn her back! I plead with Kata and Sasamori, but that doesn't stop Sasamori's
そ
plans.
の前にもう一つ試したいことがあるんよ。
You want
対抗
more?
催眠がうまくいったなら、ここはもう一段階進んで
Sasamori declares fist tight.
前世催
The previous existence?
眠。さらに1000年くらい時間を遡って前世を覗き見ようかと。
You can't! Won't you change far too much if you do that? But Sasamori shakes her head.
やってもダメってできないって決めつけるのは良くない。やってみる価値はあると思うの。
The problem isn't its scientific value! Sasamori ignores me, walks up to Senpai and starts once
ほー
more.
ら、ささらちゃん、またおねもですよ。ワン、ツー、スリー。
Senpai's head drops. Senpai!
さあ、くす川さん、あなたは一気に時間を遡る。ざっと1000年。そこであなたは何をしてるかな。
Sasamori asks Senpai, all worked up, however. No response directly, Sasamori prods her
個
again.
人的な希望だとムーやアトランティスの超能力戦士だったりすると嬉しいんだけど。
But personally hoping? No, Moon Atlantis would have been before time? Why? Would it even exist in the
く
first
す
one?
川さん、
Sasamori calls to her a few times, but there's no reaction.
失敗したんじゃない？
But she hasn't regained consciousness. I glower at Sasamori.
さあ、所詮テレビの真似だし、テレビは失敗しないし。
What kind of excuse is that? But at that moment,
どうしたの？
Tamane notices something unusual about
何か
Konomi.
感じる？
まさか好みが？
うん、私も感じる。
A small clattering sound. This can't be.
ポルターガイスト？
Wrong. This is an earthquake! Ah! It's fairly big, and we instinctively crouch down. There's a large tremor, and a shriek comes from the gymnasium. Senpai? But Senpai doesn't respond even to the earthquake. She must still be in the trance. The earthquake eventually settles. I thought it was large, but nothing fell or moved around.
かなり大きかったね。
くす川先輩大丈夫か？
Probably. Check up on some Senpai up close. Then Senpai opens her eyes. Senpai? I call and she pushes me away. Senpai? Senpai stands up and looks down upon me in an intense gaze. Ow.
無礼者。
What? Senpai howls at me.
わ
Huh?
らわの眠りを妨げたのはその方か。
What the fuck? I wasn't trying to get close. Might have Senpai suddenly in goddess mode? We're all left to gape at her transformation. This can't be. Maybe a presumptuous question, but who might you be?
わらわの名を聞きたいか？ならば聞かせてやろう。わらわはムーの戦士ササラなるぞ。
Ah, what a twist.
すごいよ、すごいよ、タカちゃん。ついに覚醒したんよ。
Now, let's not get worked up now.
本気なの？あれ。
Tamaki asks in my ear. Tamane doesn't follow, but Warrior Sasara glares at her.
そこの女。
私？
Tamane looks at Senpai in surprise. Senpai then picks up a bamboo sword, points it to Tamane and
お
declares.
前、我が宿敵アトランティスの強戦士タマーキだな。
はあ？
そうだったの？
そ そんなわけないでしょ。
Tamane states matter of fact.
これはきっと思い込みよ。
Imprinting.
笹森さんがムーの戦士とか言ったじゃない。あれは前世じゃなくて前世がムーの戦士だったという刷り込み。本物じゃない。
So
クスガはササラ、恐るるに足らず。
sensing danger, Tamane grabs a nearby mop. Senpai raises her bamboo sword and charges at
覚
Tamane.
悟。
Tamane!
やっぱり戦士とか言って型がなってない。この程度なら。
Tamane blocks the bamboo sword with a mop, however. Tamane did not stop the blow, but she's flung backwards.
どういうこと？彼女にこんな力が。
Eh? When I think about it, and raise my voice.
何高坊、そのあって。
No, Kuzugawa said she walks the mountains with her father.
だからそれが何？
Tamane shouts her question over blow after blow. I analyze the situation and answer. Despite outward appearances, people who walk the mountains are surprisingly strong and have great stamina.
それを早く言いなさい。
No, that's all there's to it.
しかもトランス状態でパワー全開、火事場のバカ力状態になってねえか。
There's probably that
でも
too.
楠川先輩、実は姉貴を相当恨んでいたとか。あれどう見ても本気で殺しに行ってる気が。
ちょっとこっちは怪我させるわけにはいかないから手加減しないといけないのよ。
Realizing she's in a tight spot, Tamane escapes from the equipment room. After that, it's a retreat after retreat. She falls back as far as the gymnasium.
真の力に目覚めぬ玉明など口ほどでもないわ。
What the fuck is even happening? That was weird for a second. I have to check something in post.
「王子はお前に渡さぬからな。」
なんか壮大というか、その割に血は喧嘩みたいなバックグラウンドが見え隠れしてねえか。
冷静に突っ込んでおくと、一般的にはムーが正義でアトランティスが悪なんよ。
That's not the issue here. Comments from the peasant gallery seem irrelevant to those involved.
高坊、なんとかしなさい。
Tamane calls to me as she is pursued. They're like, what? What should I do? The way they're moving about, we can't get her back from her trance.
気をそらせるとか、とにかく隙を作って。
How?
自分で考える。
An unsympathetic reply. But anyway, how to stop Senpai? Look at Senpai. I thought of one possible weakness in her attack capability, though.
それでいいから。
But I don't really want to use that method. But there's no point arguing with Tamane when she's chock full of adrenaline.
いいからやりなさい。でないと高坊を盾にするわよ。
Tamane is pushed back blow by blow from Sasara's bamboo sword. She's completely on the defensive and is being slammed into a corner. But there's an opening behind Senpai. This is my only chance. Hey! Sneak around behind her. I turn towards her and make a dash for it. Senpai, I'm sorry! I grab her from behind and tightly squeeze her breasts. It works perfectly as Senpai shocked drops her sword. I did it! Success! Ow! I'm whacked from behind with a mop for some reason.
高坊、何をやってるの。
Naturally, I get icy stares from everyone here. But more importantly,
そんなじゃない。男は言い逃れしない。
I know that! Punish me afterwards, but do something with Senpai quickly!
ああ、忘れてた。
Yuji and the others finally come to their senses and pin Senpai down. Sasamori, finish it! This is the only time Sasamori listens to us.
クス川さん、眠くなって。それで時間を一気に戻す。目覚めたら約2000年後。
Huh?
ワン、ツー、スリー。
Senpai suddenly passes out.
これで一安心。
Feeling relieved. Sasamori!
何？
What you said, I'm sure it was 2,000 years
だっ
later.
て今21世紀だし。
I'll embarrass her. You only sent her back 1,000 years! Now Sasamori realizes her fatal error. So 2,000 minus 1,000 means 1,000 years in the future. So she'll next debut as someone from the
どういう
future.
ことか？
それ以前に人間なの？
まさか巨大ゴキブリ生命体。
While we're discussing that, Senpai comes to and rises. Ah! Senpai stares at us. What's come from forth? What's come forth? What?
ここはどこだろう。
Senpai?
見たことのないところだ。
ああ、それにしてもこのそよ風と日の光、風と日差しがこんなに心地よいとは。
なんか妙に詩人入っちゃってるけど大丈夫なの？
Don't ask me. I glance at Senpai, our eyes meet.
この子は確か。
Senpai briskly walks over to me. Senpai? Got a bad feeling.
確か
Senpai hugs me tightly. What? Wait, hold on! Wait, hold on! Wait, hold the fuck on! What do you mean? Ah!
それキャラ違う。
Okay. Okay, even Tamaki had to like break character for a second and be like, that's wrong the game!
高坂さん、私一体何を。
なんでもないの。なんでも。
Senpai can gather from our expression that she did something unbelievable. She looks endlessly
ま
worried.
さかあれが核爆級だったなんて気をつけないと。
Tamane worries about something else the way Tamane does. Onami's voice pierces the awkward atmosphere. Everyone looks at her warily.
なんだよ、この上まだ何かあったのか。
Then Konami says to us awkwardly.
物質。ミステリ系の物質、ほったらかし。
That's right, we went to confiscate the Mystery Research Club room, but we all look at each other and sigh.
また行くのか、あそこ。
それは。
あそこに関わるのは金輪際なしということで。
Yeah.
なかったことにしましょう。
We all nod. So we decide to leave the matter of the club room for the ultimate association of like-minded people for another day. It'll take time and everyone's exhausted, so we decide to get out things from the student council room and call it a day.
河野さん、
Now,
その。
Senpai fidgets as she hesitates to say something. Seeing us like that, Tamane says to us.
何か用事？なら私たちは先に行くけど。
Yeah, later. I say then, notice Tamane's hand. Tamane, your hand. She turns it right up her arm and round and notices it frowns and says.
ああ、これはさっきの取り物の時ね。派手にぶつかったりしたから。
You're bleeding. There's a small stain on her uniform. Tamane rolls up her sleeve and says casually.
でもそんなに深くないし、うちで絆創膏でも貼れば。
No, I declare. It's a pretty big wound. You need to tend to it.
いいわよ、そんな。
I don't accept that. Grab her left hand and start walking. Let's go to the infirmary.
高坊。
河野さん。
Seeing me pull along the unreasonable Tamane, Kusagawa calls out to me. Sorry, Senpai. This'll probably take a while, so you should go home.
高坊。
Don't tell me that you're at the age that you don't like the infirmary.
言わないけど。
Tamane goes to say something, then falters. I'm wondering what her expression is about right now. But right now, taking care of her is important. I take Tamane briskly to the infirmary.
もうだから言ったでしょ、大したことないって。
でも心配だったんだよね、タカ君は。
Of course, Tamane and Kono, you're both precious people to me. Tamane sighs for some reason.
そういう気遣いができる人間になったことは私も嬉しいけど。
おい、高木。
Yuji taps my shoulder, noticing something. What is it? I look to where he's looking, and there is... Senpai! Did you wait for me? You should have gone home. Senpai looks down slightly as she answers. Was she worried about Tamane? If she was going away, she should have just come with us to the infirmary instead of being here. Was she worried about us not crossing paths? Tamane puts her hand on her face as though not seeing something. Konomi holds her fist to her mouth, looking uncomfortable.
行きましょうか。せっかくだから一緒。
ええ。
Senpai nods and we exit the gate and head down the hill. After a short while, Senpai stops. Senpai? I stop too and look back at Senpai's expression. What's wrong?
あの
Senpai blushes and crosses and rearranges her fingers a few times. She puts out her fingers towards me, then looks past me, then drops them. I look behind me and far away there's Tamane and Konami looking at our expressions. And Senpai opens and closes her hands numerous times, but that's all.
やっぱりいいわ
Senpai?
行きましょう
She looks up, smiles, and says, there's no strength in her smile though, but I can't really figure out why. It doesn't happen very often, but I do occasionally get cravings. For example, dry curry, salt ramen, corned beef. So hungry. Another craving is probably Sasara. Not the cannibalistic kind. The lewd kind.
うーん
You're looking tired from the morning.
朝だから眠いんだよ
Maybe. But don't go falling asleep in class soon after entering the school.
そんなことしないよ
Haven't you already?
2年はもうすぐ修学旅行なんだよね
Yeah, to Hokkaido for 4 nights and 5 days.
そっかいいな修学旅行
It'll be your turn next year. Be patient until then.
そうだけどそうじゃなくてタカ君と一緒に行ってみたかったから修学旅行タカ君と一緒にしたことないし
Of course, but yeah, I
ね
guess.
え北海道のどこに行くの
I know of sightseeing spots, but I haven't really checked out the details. On the last day, we have free time in Sapporo, so I'll be hanging out with Yuji, destroying ourselves with ramen. Normally it'd be safe to tour the sightseeing spots, but that seems kind of boring, and we don't have enough time to see them all. Having said that, we'll just be wasting time wandering aimlessly.
ラーメンやっぱりいいな
There's a lot of shops that serve it. I call it destroying ourselves with ramen, but it'll probably be 5 or 6 places. It's just where, that's the question. We've looked at information pamphlets, but still haven't been able to decide.
あ、そうだそれじゃあお父さんに聞いてみようか
Your dad?
お父さんって仕事で時々札幌に行くから美味しいお店とか知ってるかも
Really? Could you please then? Ah! Someone prods me from behind, startling me. Hi, Kosaki. I slowly turn around and notice a familiar face standing there. Komaki? Not Kosaki. Komaki. Why do I keep calling it Kosaki?
今ちょっといいですか
Looking around, yeah, what are you doing? Even though I nodded, Komaki seems to be looking around obliviously. Finally, Komaki beckons to me, pointing in the
こっち
distance.
ちょっとこっち
Looks like she's trying to avoid attention.
実は書庫の蔵書の整理が図書委員会の業務として正式に組み込まれまして
Cool. So that
これ
means...
からは図書委員の手によりバーコード化が進められるので私たちの手を離れたってことです
Don't worry, I haven't shown up a single fucking time anyways. Ah,
そう
really?
です
So, are congratulations in order? Komaki pauses for a while before
おめでとう
replying.
でいいでしょうありがとうございます
I feel like it's a hollow
は
victory.
い私もそんなわけで今までありがとうございました
She bows and brushes off. It's growing silently instantly. What? In a nutshell, this means we have no reason to go to the archives anymore. When I arrive at the student council door, I notice a poster stuck on the door. Today's student council meeting has been relocated. Please climb the stairs to the side. Stairs to the side. What the heck is this? Probably Marion's doing. What on earth is she thinking? Knowing her, she probably isn't thinking at all. Climb the stairs and open the door. Marion, what's this all about?
ようやく来たかタカリャンくん
She says as she ushers me along. I stand there dumbfounded in the open door. I'm speechless. A desk and whiteboard from the former student council are neatly placed in the middle of the roof. She brought them here on purpose. Senpai, heaving beside her, is exhausted. Marian probably told her she had to bring them up here, or she'd publicize Kusugawa's embarrassing photos. Nah, Marian probably threatened to release her own embarrassing photos. What are you trying to achieve here, senpai?
タカリャン、その年で老眼か？何って生徒会に決まってんでしょ？
She says matter of factly. This doesn't look like that at all.
いやー、まあ春だし。
You're not a student anymore! Why can't you just leave us alone? Like, this entire, like, big old fucking parting drama between the two of them is being cheapened so much by them just recycling her over and over for her shitty fucking jokes. Fucking get her out of my fucking face! I'm saying fucking too much again.
サプライズ人事ってやつ？
I'll try to fool me with archaic terms.
いいじゃんいいじゃん。生徒会の移設くらいケチケチすんなよ。春だから春の日差しの中でお仕事したかったんだよ。
It's not even your fucking work, you piece of human garbage! She flutters and carries on. Senpai rolls over on the ground, wriggling like a dying
それ
cockroach.
はそれ、これはこれ。
This person.
まあ冗談はさておき、一度これをやっておきたかったのだ。
Moved student council meeting. Senpai nods.
略して
Senpai declares loudly.
屋上生徒会。
No, it's not abbreviated at all. Oh hey, Dumb and Danger are separated this time. Also, literally, there we go. Third floor classroom. Student council room. Looks like the conditions are good enough for me to head to the student council, but I don't really know what conditions are best for me. Regardless, I head for the student council room where Kusugawa is waiting. But on the way.
ねえねえ、聞いた聞いた。うん、聞いた。夜の学校に。やだ、本当なんだ。
Picked that up as I passed by girls. I'm intrigued by the school at night, but I'd like to ask for more details, but it would be embarrassing to go back just for that. Furthermore, I don't know them, so if I took one wrong step, I'd just look suspicious. Leave the scene despite my curiosity. Hello? Agreed, as I always do when entering the room. Tamane and the others aren't there, leaving only Senpai. Senpai, however, appears to be brooding over something. She doesn't seem to notice my entrance. I call out, careful not to surprise her. Senpai, did something happen?
河野さん、
Senpai raises her hand briefly, finally noticing me. But she immediately looks back down. What on earth could it be? So wonder that she seems to notice my curiosity.
実はね、
Senpai sighs and hands to me a beat-up note paper lying on the desk. She was looking at it earlier. This rough paper came from the suggestion box. I pick it up and read it loud. Let's see. Saw a woman's shadow last night at school. It must have been a ghost. Student council, please take care of it. It's fucking Marian just hanging around at school at fucking night for some bullshit reason again. I can fucking tell it. I would actually just end the part after this scene because, like, I'm actually getting, like, really fucking upset with Marian. I think I just need to, like, mentally reset myself. Though our student council government doesn't have any spooks. Anyways, this is what's troubling Senpai.
困ったわ。
Pain indeed, this request. Senpai nods and says quietly.
笹森さんに夜間活動するときはちゃんと許可をもらうように指導しないと。
Nah, this isn't necessarily from Sasara-Route.
違うの？
Senpai blinks astonished. It's quite a dramatic declaration. Well, normally that would not be surprising, but I heard something like this from some girls in the corridor earlier. It always seems to have become a rumor.
そうなの。
Senpai says, but she looks at me and says
その女
quietly.
性の正体が何であれ、噂になっている以上、学園の秩序を司る生徒会としては現状を看過できません。
Oh, please, we all know it's fucking Marian. Who you're trying to fucking fool. Which means...
アストラルバスターズのお出ましだおい、君たち。
Tamane and the others are late. What are they doing?
あら、高坂くんとは一緒じゃなかったの？
She Goes on cleaning duty.
大変ね。
But I'm amazed that Senpai is here first from a class on the first floor. Did you run up the stairs?
まさか。
放置プレイする気ならまず私を縛ってからにしろ。
She then lays down on the table, hiking up her miniskirt, no doubt intentionally. Okay, I don't want to see that, so straighten your skirt, please. Call her name through my spitulating migraine. Ma-ryan.
相変わらず可愛いなだから女の子のパンツ一枚でそこまでうろたえられる成人男子は世界できっと
He
君だ
says
け
and
だぞ。
gets up annoyed. She sits cross-legged, just subtly on the verge of visible and not. Why does she tease everyone so much and expose herself? And style herself after a 14-year-old. So, Ma-ryan, how long have you been here for?
いやー、君たちがいつエッチー行為に及んでも邪魔にならないように気配を消して隠れてました。朝から。
She points under the desk where a sleeping bag, portable game, and the remains of cup noodles are sprawled. Please don't live there. You're not even a student at school anymore.
いやー、そんなことよりアストラルバスターズ知らない？アストラルバスターズ。この界隈じゃちょっと名前が知られてるんだけど。なんだよなんだよ。最近の若いもんはそんなことも知らないのかよ。ああ、嫌な世の中になっちゃったな。アストラルバスターズも知らない子供たちばっかなんだ。
I think
お姉
I
さん、寂しいな。
just had a very sad realization. Hold on. Okay, my realization was wrong. I for sure thought that she sounded kind of like Form 1 Cookie from Machigoi. She is, however, apparently fucking Okuse Arika from Alcana. That and one of the characters in White Album 2, but quite frankly, who cares? She rolls around the desk once more. She really is a child. She wants to be looked after. There are all sorts of definitions. Okay, we understand. So you'll be happy if I say the Astral Buster. If I say the Astral Buster set out.
きっと社長が褒めてくれるぞ。
Which president?
ではご一緒に。
Astral Buster set out.
全員
Therefore,
集合しました。
student council members plus 1. Even though we'd all gone home, we are in our regular uniforms again since we're in school. Though there are some irregularities. Tamane feared it being dangerous and brought a bamboo sword and clutching a metal bat. Kazgawa is holding a personal alarm. Yuji a camera to do some ghost photography, and for some reason Konami an insect net and cage. And Ma-ryan, what exactly are you planning to explore? Her usual uniform plus mountain climbing gear. Does she plan to use those cooking
い
utensils?
やー、いきなり学校が未来に飛んだらまずいじゃん。
Still, I suppose of a ghost. I frown.
なんだか怖いね、タカ君。
The ghost house in an amusement park would probably be scary. It's definitely set up to scare you, whereas this is a maybe. Konami smiles by bravado.
皆さん、
Kazgawa looks at us all and
全員
speaks.
が揃ったところで半分けをしたいと思います。2人ずつの組で1つの校舎を担当してください。
Everyone nods and
ではま
acknowledges.
ずマーリャン先輩と柚原さん。
行くぞ、コナミン。了解であります。
Marian and Konami hold hands as they walk off to get talking. After seeing them off, Senpai announces the next
次
group.
は高坂さんと
Kuzugawa stalls after some hesitation. She adds in
河野さん
Me? I'm surprised by his unexpected combo, though I'm not sure why I'm certain that he was senpai. But that means the other
あ
group
とは
is...
私と高坂くんよろしいですか
Kuzugawa casually reels off that god-awful combination. Ma-ryan glares at Kuzugawa, and Konami and the other appear to be thinking, are you sure? Yuji's the same as always. His face lights up all creepily, almost as creepy as a ghost. How did we end up in this unnatural combinations? Everyone appears uncomfortable. Then Tamane says...
意義あり。
Tamane raises her voice sharply despite the
高
silence.
坂さん
Kuzugawa appears a little perturbed. Tamane looks over to everyone.
ダメよこんな組み合わせ。あなたとユージが一緒だなんて、それこそ何をされるかわからないわよ。
おいおい、姉貴こそ俺のことをもうちょっと信用。
You have literally never given us even a single fucking deed you performed that would allow us to have any kind of faith in you.
そうやって腰に手を回すタイミング測ってる時点で信用がないの。
あたたたたたたた。
She tosses Yuji and his objection aside. Kuzugawa steps forward and appeals to
で
Tamane.
も高坂さんこそ
But Tamane points to Senpai's chest. Surprisingly, Senpai covers her breasts with her arms.
余計なお世話よ。自分の面倒は自分で見られるわ。あなたと違って。
私は
楠川さん、
Tamane stares at Senpai as she speaks.
あなたはわがままになっていい立場にいるのよ。なる必要があるの。私や好みのことを大事にしてくれるのなら、まずそれを考えて。
Those words seem to make Senpai hang her head.
これがフェアプレーだって言うなら、私あなたを軽蔑するわ。
I raise my voice in objection to her throwaway manner. Tamane! But this does not perturb Tamane, who grips my uniform and pulls me towards her. What? But in contrast to her powerful grip, she whispers to me.
ちゃんと楠川さんを守るのよ。
You don't need to tell me that.
どうだか。高坊はいざっていう時、感情より理性を優先させるから。
Unbelievable. The last words are added by mouthing only. It's important to choose reason when it comes down to it.
じゃあ、他に何かある？はいマリアン先輩。
Up to 300 yen on snacks. Bananas don't count as snacks.
先回りして言うなよ。
If you promise.
じゃあ
At face, Marian raises her hand.
好みはおやつに入るか？
Huh?
いやー、せっかく夜中の学校に二人きりになるんだから、誰もいないのいいことに食っちゃおうかと。あひどいぞだか
It's horrible. It's your mental state.
りゃ。あ、ちなみにこの場合は上からじゃなくて下から食う。なんだよ、俺にくれたっていいだろう。
I did not. Either due to Marian's absurdity or just through time alone, everyone's face is relaxed. Only Senpai looks out of place. The school grounds are divided into 4. Each group will be responsible for one area, and then we'll regroup at the remaining one. That's the plan.
じゃあまた後で。
Yes, you guys take care.
タカ君もね。
Each of us head to our designated areas. Shall we go then? We watch the other group's torches fade and head to our area. I check our torch once more and enter the school grounds. Wow, sure is quiet inside. Considering how busy this place is at lunch, it's eerie to not even see, with not even a shadow at night. There's no one here.
それが普通なんだけど
Guess so. That we're here because of the rumor of someone being here when there shouldn't be anyone. Nothing here is normal. We point the torchlight deep inside, but with such a cheap torch, we can't really make anything out. What do we do? Temp answers my question with another query. Well, it wasn't a big question. Asks something more concrete. Should we go up or down?
下から行きましょう目の前だし
Her voice is trembling, but her answer is uncertain. But since there is no correct answer, there's no point in disputing it. Let's go then. Hold the torch in one hand and the bat in the other. We proceed. I search each classroom one by one with a duplicate key we got at lunch. Weren't mentally up to checking under every desk and in every locker. All I do is sweep the torch inside from the entryway. But we don't see anything unusual around by doing that. After searching the first floor with a duplicate key, I query Senpai. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong. Senpai murmurs there's still the second and third floors. Can't relax yet.
じゃあ2階に行きましょう
Senpai, as the student council president, commanded the investigation team. Astrobus urges us on as planned. I nod and walk to the stairs as per Senpai's command, but Senpai clings to my back. There's a sound.
何今の音
No, don't really know how to describe it. Some kind of scraping. It only normally makes expansion noises as the temperatures changes, so there's no reason to associate with paranormal phenomena. Anyway, let's go on to the second floor. We resume our climb up the stairs. Something seems to have flustered Senpai and her grip disappears. Senpai? Your sudden action startles me. What's wrong?
ごめんなさい
Senpai looks down and goes silent. I don't know what it was. Did something happen? Or did she think it was wrong to cling to my back? No, I should say that it's scary, so it's better to stay close. Look, I don't mind. I'm a little scared too. I feel more comfortable with someone at my back. She timidly inches closer to my back. Ma-ryan. Senpai freezes at the ghostly moaning. I can hear some. It's not just a noise. It's coming from underground, but it can't be someone. But can't be someone there. Is there some sign? Where are they? Whip around, wielding a torch. There's a silhouette behind Senpai. Ah! But when I turn, I hit someone's, maybe something's arm, and the torch clatters to the ground. The switch strikes the floor, and the stairwell goes pitch black. I grab for it. Shit! I reach for the torch numerous times with my hand, only finds darkness. Fucking cheap piece of shit. Senpai! Senpai's voice, where is she? I can't see a thing. I grasp out, feeling for Senpai. She seems distant. I can't find her. Senpai, where are you? It's Senpai's voice. I grope around near where her voice came from. Then I touch an arm. It's a delicate sensation to the Senpai. This way! Pull on the arm. There's no resistance at all. Run up the stairs with all my might. I have to get away from the dread as quickly as possible. When I get to the third floor and find the student council room, I finally pause. Okay, we've made it this far. Let out a sigh of relief. Breathing heavily, I hit the torch a few times. The torch springs back to life. Probably went out with the bad connection. Now I can relax at least. I turn to Senpai. Are you okay, Senpai? Ma-ryan. Oh no. Honestly, I would be hilarious if Lichi just lets go of the hand, just walks back down. I found the woman. Anyways, hold on. Copy. Hold on. Ah! Turning around, there's a completely different girl standing there. Who on earth? Who are you? Fall flat on butt. Okay, so with the speech, she states.
失礼だぞルーをさらっておいてから名を尋ねるとは
Ooh. In context, it appears I'm the ooh she speaks of. There's something otherworldly about her manner and mode of
名
speech.
前を尋ねるならそちらから名乗るものだろ
Despite her emotionless tone, there's an edge to her words. I answer her reflexively. I'm Takaki Kono. She nods.
なるほどだな
No, I said Takaki Kono.
だからだろ
I decided to leave it at that. Whatever is fine with me, ooh or boo.
それでいい。ようやく理解したか。この星のウーは
Oh
知
boy,
的
it's
レ
an
ベルが
actual
低くて
fucking
困る。
name. Okay, that's fine. So who are you? She raised both arms and high in answers.
ルーはルーコ、綺麗な空。ルーコと呼ぶがいい。
Ruko. What kind of person's name is that? Perhaps it's a pen name or channel handle. I've only heard her name so far, but I got the feeling there's a lot of mystery about her. Nevertheless, I go on asking more. So, Ruko, why on earth are you here?
愚問だな。この時間系ではルーは無事着陸に成功した。
I don't
だ
get
から
it.
今
I don't
こ
know
こ
what
に
she's
いる。
getting at.
褒め
What
る。
I'm asking is what you're doing here. Ruko speaks to me somewhat taken aback.
なら初めからそう聞くがいい。ルーはここで学術調査をしていたのだ。
Academic
ウ
investigation.
ーの生態の研究だ。ここにはウーがたくさんいる。だからサンプルを集めやすい。
Recent disturbances in the school. Are you responsible?
ルー、
An ambiguous answer, but I kind of understand. Jeez. I thought of my knees shattered. It was the real nature of the ghost. Hey, Senpai. I start saying, finally knows what's missing. Senpai! Realizing that I'd left Senpai behind, I sprint down the stairs as does Ruka for some reason. Is Senpai okay?
ルー、
Quit it with the ambiguous lines, they're scary.
愚かだぞ。意味なら数百とある。今のをの言葉で意訳すると、安心しろ。笹は無事だ。
I get it, you adjusted to barbarian levels for us barbarians to understand. I returned to the second floor where Senpai should have left and looked there. Senpai! Shout to Senpai, given Ruko is the ghost's true nature. It's not like Senpai would have gotten eaten. Call out to Senpai once more. Senpai! I start to say and hear something from the opposite direction. What is it? I hear something in the darkness. A stifled voice in the darkness. Is this the real thing? Ah! Something grabs my cuff from below. Fall over on the corridor in surprise. What? Slowly pointing my torch towards the thing that's clutching me, and there is...
河野さん。
Senpai! Senpai's there. She's sitting squarely on the floor in the corridor. Are you crying? The staff of tears become more obvious after she realizes it's me. Senpai, please don't cry. It's all right now. It's easy for me to say, and although it was my mistake, I was the one who left her alone in the dark. I feel pangs in my
ルーの
chest.
言った通り、無事だった。ルーの導きだ。感謝しろ。
Whose fault it is that this happened, huh? Anyway, we can't stand around here. Let's move to the student council room. I suggest to Senpai, but Senpai shakes her head and does not start getting up. Can't you stand? She shakes her head again. No. Then what's the problem? Can't understand if you don't tell me. You're not hurt, are you? Or...
なるほど。あれか。
Ruko suddenly interjects. That? Ask her, but Ruko ignores him and speaks to
気
Senpai.
に病むな。その程度なら失敗のうちに入らないぞ。もしよければ武士の情け。ルーの変装装備の一つをくれてやろう。
She says, and Ruko helps Senpai up and takes her to the toilet. I don't understand a thing, and now I can't even follow what this perplexing girl is doing, so I try to stop Ruko. However...
はこのの恥ずかしいところを観察する気か？
Huh? Look at Kusugawa. Senpai has her face completely averted and she's cowering
デ
away.
リカシーのないは嫌われるぞ。
What are they doing at the toilet? Ah, I see. Unable to bear it anymore, I move away hastily and sit on the floor cross-legged. Feeling okay now? And Senpai, a can of coffee that I had for myself. Senpai nods quietly and takes it. I stare at Senpai. This can't go on for much longer. How do I get through to her? I'm at my wit's end. My myself from shame. Could hurt her more if I console her badly. On the other hand, Ruko was chewing away at Senpai's emergency rations.
粗食だが栄養価は高いな。一応褒めてやろう。
She's the reason why a bunch of hers vanished. Aside, Ruko seems to have absolutely no luck with women, looking at Kusugawa. What are you so relaxed about? This is all your fault. The school is no place for outsiders to intrude at their will. You can't come in here again. But I don't like how I say it myself. It's clearly a smug voice.
これが最後の縁ではなかろうに。釣れないぞ。
I don't want this to end now. She wants to show up somewhere else.
それにたちもここで寝起きするだろう。ケチケチすることないぞ。
Listen, the school is no apartment or accommodation.
嘘つきだな。
Japanese is slightly unnatural. It's like she holds some extraterrestrial awareness. Ruko raises her hand and makes the declaration.
まあいい。ここでも世話になった。ルーは誇り高い部族だ。恩には恩で返してやろう。
She says and points to my forehead.
2階の女子トイレ。
Huh?
2階の女子トイレの窓は一見鍵がかかっているが、窓の縁を叩くとすぐ外れる。だから今度夜に来た時は叩くといい。裏庭からの侵入ルートが特におすすめだ。
She's recommending a route for trespass.
警報も出入り口と職員室やコンピュータ室のような高価なものがあるようなところにしかないから気にするな。
A sigh and exasperation. How the hell did we get to
ル
this?
ーの導きだ。諦めろ。
No, we don't need to tell us. When I sigh once more, I sneak a peek at Senpai's expression. What do I do? Seems I've heard her again. I'm useless when it absolutely matters. And there's the lights flickering outside the window. It's not Tamane and the others. We've gone over time, so I'll be worried. Let's go, Senpai. Everyone's waiting.
でも
Senpai grips the hem of her skirt.
軽蔑したでしょ。この年にもなって。
No way!
私やっぱりダメなの。こ
Senpai.
んなんじゃダメ。こんなんじゃいつまで経っても高坂さんに。
I don't know why she brought up Tamane. There is one thing I can clearly say. You might be worried about it, but I have no reason to detest
嘘
it.
だって私
It's true, you may be embarrassed if people find out about it, but that embarrassment itself is why I cannot be repulsed.
河野さん
You're a senpai. Regardless of what happens, you're senpai. You're the one who's ashamed. I'm the one who's ashamed. I couldn't protect you when it counted. Sorry, senpai. Told Tamane I'd protect you, but I was careless and you suffered as a result. Please don't be ashamed. If you do anything, please curse me for being despicable, senpai. I tell her, my eyes look into hers. Tears start welling up in senpai's eyes. Senpai?
バカ河野さんのバカ
Yeah, I know. That much I know. I thought she was scolding me, but her voice is somewhat sad and gentle. Ruko has her back to us, appearing not to see or hear. It was only the sound of senpai weeping.
おー、ようやく来たか、タカリャンくん。
So, did you do something good to Sarian? That's the look Marian has on her face looking at us. I did not, Kay. Language goes all stupid at my surprise. We exit the school building and return to the familiar light of the other torches. Tamane spies the girl behind us with her keen eyesight.
その子は
Ruko! I don't know if it's her real name or not, but that's what she called herself.
ルー。
Ruse says again in her mysterious country's greeting. She said she came to observe the school and made her way in. This is the ghost's true nature.
なんだつまらないオチね。
She's fine. You can figure it out by looking. I came to that conclusion by the absurdity I experienced. I stare directly at Ruko, but she shows no sign of caring.
いろいろ迷惑をかけたようだな。だが、おかげで貴重なサンプルが一度に7つも手に入った。感謝してやろう。では、ルーはルーに戻ろうと思う。名残惜しめ。
She strolls towards the school gate. You can't come in here again.
ルー。
She acknowledged or not.
なんだかわからないけど、要するに、私らはあの子にいいようにもてあそばれたってことで OK？
And on to Marian's conclusion.
まったく骨折り損かよ。
いいじゃない。幽霊なんていたらいたで大騒ぎなんだから。
So with the investigation over, shall we head home? I suggest everyone. However, Konomi still seems to be pondering. What's wrong?
タカ君、
あのルーコさん、サンプルは7つって言ってたよね。
I guess. But I just was so
7つってことは7人？でも私たち
us. Me, Kusugawa, Tamane, Konomi, Yuji, Ma-ryan. Huh? 6 a total. 7 minus 6. We simultaneously look at the school building. Kusugawa raises her voice. There's a shadow of a long-haired girl in the school corridor. Senpai! Senpai! Thus, the ghost hunt concludes without incident! Question mark. But the legend of the 7th extra student was added to the list of the school's 7 mysteries to be handed down for eternity. Tomorrow they'll come by to pick up the rubbish. Since I've forgotten to take it out the last 2 times, the kitchen is actually getting a little bit out of control. This wouldn't be that big a problem, except that I forgot to rinse both and not in a yogurt container. I deeply regret this mistake. Ah! Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you next time when I hopefully no longer have to fucking deal with Ma-ryan. However, I did get the good news that Ma-ryan is only in hers a lot, and surprisingly, Yuji's only seen a lot in 2 routes, apparently. So I assume the 2 routes are gonna be this one and, well, Tamaki's route, which makes sense. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye-bye.